signs for that matter. You can also get mugs, and of course our brand new limited Amber Turds stained blanket. That's right, just for your bed or wherever you need it. So head on over to Mixed Tees now and get all your apparel and goodies from Midnight's Edge.
Get up, wake up, this is your final warning. It's time for Midnight's Edge in the morning. The gang is ready to go and it's time for the show. It's time for Midnight's Edge in the morning.
Hello and welcome to the morning show here on Midnight's Edge. Truly is a morning show now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the program. We have the boss man, Andre, with us. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Greetings, everyone.
Greetings to you. We also have Paulie from Latino Slant. How are you?
I, after watching Tron and Peacemaker, I feel cinematically assaulted.
So you watched Tron air out my balls?
But I'm good, man. It's good to be here.
Good
What's
to
up,
see you.
chat?
Yeah. It's funny you should mention balls because Paul Chato, he's the urologist right now, but he expressed similar sentiments after a double helping of Peacemaker and Tron Ares. But
So Paul is in a doctor's office getting his balls groped.
and more, yeah.
Anyhow, we also have Chris Brawley from Bleeding Fool. How are you doing this morning, sir?
People pay good money for that.
Some people do, including Paul Chato.
It's funny. I know for Paulie, it's like 7 a.m. over there. So he's like up fresh and ready, but it's still very dim in the room. You know, he doesn't need any bright lights. And then it looks like Andre's drinking wine. So it must be like 5
It's
o'clock.
like 4 in the afternoon.
Well, my room is also going to dim as the stream goes on, and also since I'm so far north, also this time is going to be dimmer and dimmer and dimmer as we approach December 21st when the sun turns again around the sun again.
No, that's right, for the solstice. Sure. So it'll
Yes,
get darker it will be getting darker on Andre's side and lighter over on Paulie's side. I'm in a studio that has no windows, so all this lighting is unnatural.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking some natural Java to get me going. Glad to be here, guys. Glad to be here.
Yeah. This time it's going to be pitch black in like 2 months hence.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I should mention too, thanks. We've been getting some well wishes today. Today is the 8th anniversary of Bleeding Fool. We launched.
Hey, congratulations.
Today. Yeah, thank you. 8 years of thumbing our noses at everyone on the Bleeding Cool side of the aisle. So I have not gotten an email or birthday card from Rich yet at Bleeding Cool, but the day is still young.
Yeah. Although I will credit him for one thing. He was one of the first ones to actually write that not everything is great on Feige Island.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's a muckraker for sure. I think he likes to stir the pot. Doesn't matter which side. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Glad to have you all here. I saw a movie yesterday.
You did.
Saw a movie yesterday as well. So maybe we can start talking about that, because that kind of like goes nicely in with the theme of Hollywood freaking out about Sora AI right about now, which has been like a major theme of this week. I already posted my review of Tron Ares, and if anything, I was very kind and lenient to it compared to what many others have been. The meme on screen that perfectly captures the theme right there. So anyway, I thought that Tron Ares was at best fine, if not a little bit forgettable and stupid, and it asked too much of me, things I could not accept, and where I was just not able to suspend my disbelief. And my God, the music was atrocious. But we'll get into that. Paulie, what did you think about Tron Ares? Did Disney win you back over? Is the Tron franchise now for the first time going to be back on track? or on track, because it wasn't really a franchise.
Well, before we go too far, you didn't explain the meme on screen, by the way.
Oh yeah, explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah, for those who are just listening, the meme on screen is like a still from the original Jurassic Park. Yeah, we're Tron Ares looking at the screen with the question. Now, eventually, do you plan to have Tron in your Tron movie? Right? Because the joke here is, of course, that Tron isn't just this computer world, it's an actual program. It was basically Bruce Boxleitner's character's digital avatar. That was Tron. And Tron, the program, was not in Tron Legacy, but Bruce Boxleitner was. He kind of like had the user behind Tron. Whereas in this one, ain't no Tron. You have like the worlds in which Tron originated and other computer worlds, but you don't actually have Tron. So it's kind of like the Pink Panther, I guess, where the title has gone beyond the description of the item being described. But yeah, Paul.
But yeah, for the audience involved. Oh, you're about to turn it over to Paulie. I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, can you tell us what this movie is about? Because we've speculated, we've talked about, we've heard rumors. You know, we've even talked about here on the show how there was a couple of different scripts. One that was the, direct sequel to Tron Legacy. The other, which was more so a, not so much a sequel, but more of a rebootquel set in the real world, mostly to be cheaper, and with a woman who is the key to everything. So tell us, which one did we get? And then we'd love to hear both of your feelings on the film itself.
Well, to do it real quick, we got the cheaper, the one that's set in reality, kind of like the original Masters of the Universe from 1987, where to make it cheaper, it was set on Earth in some Dumbwater, Florida, or something like that, because that's much cheaper than having it in Eternia. We got the same thing here. There's maybe like 15 minutes of in-computer action. Rest is on the streets, where it's a little bit cheaper. And the basic story is that Ares, the program played by Mr. Morbius, and we'll get back to him later on here, he can go into the real world for a whole of 29 minutes, like everything else from the real world. But just like the replicants in Blade Runner, that's his time limit. So he has a brief time window before he gets Thanos'd, and his conscious is sent back to computer land. But he wants to remain in the real world, finding the MacGuffin code that allows him to stay in the real world. That's really what this is about, to extend his life, in a sense. That's the gist of the story. Polly, would you agree with that, or am I missing something central?
I guess. I mean, I hated this movie. And it's very rare that I come out of a movie like with that much Latin heat.
Yeah,
ready to rip it apart. Listen, you're very kind to this movie. I
was. So I get that.
I respect that, man. I'm not, there's nothing original about this movie. None of the characters were likable. They didn't want you to even know who the characters were the first hour, because there's one bombardment babble after another. Everything was just incoherent, and it actually was in some moments very cheap looking. So this, besides all the the Greta Lee and all the Hollywood shtick that they do, it's all in there. It's bullshit. And I this is why I like saving my rants, because this one deserves it. This deserves it, because I just recently rewatched Tron and Tron Legacy, and fuck, man, those things are Shakespeare compared to this,
especially Tron Legacy.
It's Tron Legacy. So yeah, there's just so many things I didn't get, but the first thing that I just didn't get is that, who are these people? This movie's told through TikTok stories, in a sense. The attention span, the way they talk to each other, unlikable people, and Peacemaker as well. I'm just so tired of these asshole people. Everyone's an asshole. it's
Yeah, that
just,
was the TikTok storytelling. That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, there's some parts that look good. I don't, whatever. And I agree with you. The Tron grid, the original Tron 82 grid world was wonderful.
Right.
But even that was like, what is he, like Yoda now? I mean, what, it's yeah, man.
No,
And
you
it's
know who he was?
mm,
He was you know how in the original Man of Steel you have the digital avatar of
Jor-El.
Kal-El's
Jor-El.
father, of Jor-El, yeah.
So glad you said
So
that.
it isn't the actual Jor-El,
Yeah,
but it's a digital avatar triggered by the presence. That's what
yeah.
he was.
I'm
Because
so glad you said that.
the
Yeah.
original Flynn, he
So
obviously isn't there.
Jeff
He
Bridges
looks like
is
He looks like freaking in between Marlon Brando and freaking the Man of Steel, Jor-El. He looked absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
So
he,
he's
he didn't want to have any CGI this time because he complained so much probably about how he looks CGI in Legacy.
But it made sense in Legacy.
Of course it did.
He's Clue in the Tron world. I mean, I don't want to go, but anything. Anyways,
Yeah.
those are my first impressions without really like tearing it apart as far as story, characters, dialogue, music.
We're about to get into the music. I just want to address this comment here from
Okay.
Alex G that I happened to catch. Alex G wondered, did they explain why they went from blue to red? Yes, this is something that I was curious about as well from the trailers, and I actually addressed this in the review that we posted yesterday. You see here in the background, look, all that nice blue. That's the original Tron world from 1984, because he ventures into it. All the red that you see is a different computer world. It is not the computer world of Flynn. It is not the world created by Encom. Instead, it is the computer world created by Dillinger. That's the user behind Master Control in the original Tron, and his colors, of course, were red. And the computer world we see in the trailers and stuff, that's his world. It's Dillinger world. That's where Jared Leto is coming from. He is the updated Master Control, which is why he's wearing red, like everything in that world. He's a product of Dillinger, not the Flynn. That's why.
Which was stupid as shit, as far as him being the Master Control. I mean, I wanted an Ares warrior battling fools out. I wanted to like see what the Dillinger grid was all about. Really establishing him as this something just amazing. Instead, you just got this weirdo, man. It's like, look at the rain, and I want permanence, impermanence.
And the irony with that, because in some ways, this was poor man's dumbed down Blade Runner.
Totally.
But with one significant difference, because he wants permanence. He wants to be in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
But as Flynn explained, permanence is mislabeled because you're not actually permanent. It only means you're not going to disintegrate in 29 minutes. You're still going to go old and die eventually, and that is if you aren't caught up in some accident or get some disease or something like that first. So it was more understandable in Blade Runner because the replicants there who wanted more life, they were also living on borrowed time, but they would die after their 3 years were up. Whereas this is where this philosophically falls apart, because Ares and everyone else, they don't die. They can go into the real world, stay for 29 minutes, disintegrate or de-res, which is the code for, or the name for being Thanos. But then their conscious is instantly teleported back to computer world, where they have permanence, where they are eternal. They will be in computer world forever until that world is deleted or they're upgraded or whatever, something like that, right? So they have permanence in their other world. It's more akin to like an avatar of wanting to stay in avatar land forever in your digital avatar. That's kind of like what he wants here, because he already has eternal life. He just wants a shorter life in a different world. That's all he wants, really.
What's with the 29 minutes? Was that ever explained?
No.
Oh, yes, it's called the MacGuffin. It's what you kind of like need for the
Right.
story to make sense.
This
But
whole thing
no,
was a
it's
MacGuffin.
just like in Darkman, with how like his mask is perfectly fine
Yeah.
in light up until like
Yeah.
I don't know how many minutes, and then it disintegrates in the sun. It's just like that. It's just an arbitrary thing. There's no science behind it. The script just needs it to be like so don't question it. So it's either or. Either you disintegrate at 29 minutes or you're forever. Nothing in between.
Yeah,
Just buy it.
and just how you said, in regards to other movies like Blade Runner or even Wings of Desire, other films have just done it so well where they give up their immortal self and become, mortal with us. There's nothing original here, man. And yeah, it's nice to see Jeff, and then you got a couple lines, but this whole thing was a ripoff. I mean, this is the height of Disney's cinematic failure this year. I mean, this is gross.
I
This
wouldn't say it's
makes
the
people
height. They've
dumber.
had worse, but it certainly wasn't great. This, I would say, this is the greatest waste of potential. But also, if I may, I think this is the one that was going to be the most difficult to pull off, because you could get away with the first Tron in 1984, where most people didn't know computers, and for all most people knew there could be a completely different world in there.
Mm-hmm.
Most people were a little bit computer savvy. Just the whole concept that there's this completely different world with life and everything like that inside the computers, that's a big freaking ask. And that's the starting ask. And the asks just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger after that. And for very little philosophical payoff. Tom, when we discussed Blade Runner earlier in the week, you said that one of your issues with Blade Runner was that there was a million movies like that explored the same concept. To which I replied, yeah, true, but 999,000 of them came after Blade Runner, because Blade Runner was the OG that kind of like did that, if not first, then one of the first. This is the most generic of the rip-offs. Movies like this is why people would like Blade Runner less, because it gave us stuff like this. Just to go back to that. So yeah, this was a giant waste of potential, absolutely. And the music. What did you think about the music? Let's spend 2 minutes on that before we move on with the show here.
Well, I mean, I heard one clip, and I haven't seen the film or I haven't heard the soundtrack, but I heard that one clip, and I'm like, this is a joke, right? This can't be the actual finished music in the film, and I'm assuming it is, because why else would they
It is. I don't know what
yeah.
you have heard, but I guarantee you that's exactly what it was, because it was so unbelievably disappointing. I have no words for how disappointing it was. It was like there was like 2 points in the movie where I felt that where the score was okay. It was like, yeah, okay, fine. This tune is pretty okay, and there was another point where like this tune is pretty okay. But most of the time, and Paulie, I don't know if you have the same experience, but most of the time, I found that the score was distracting, and it pulled me out of the movie rather than immerse me in it.
It's lipstick on a pig, and it didn't fit. It was distracting. It was too loud. It's honestly at some points, and at some points it was just basically just crashing music sounds. It was just, what the hell is going on here? And it doesn't fit this world of Tron, like
No.
Daft Punk. I mean, I love Atticus Ross. I love Nine Inch Nails. I love Daft Punk. They're just incredible musicians, incredible music they've made. It just didn't fit.
They weren't right for this one job.
Yeah. Say that again. I'm sorry.
They weren't right for this one job.
Not at all.
I will also say that as much as I like Nine Inch Nails, meaning Trent Reznor, and I guess Atticus Ross because he helps out Trent Reznor, I think that their work in Hollywood has been extremely lackluster. They haven't made one soundtrack which is like among the all-time greats. You would think that they did, but they haven't. Like, for instance, they did the soundtrack for The Social Network. Was that an amazing soundtrack? Is that a movie that is remembered for its
It got
soundtrack?
overhyped like a motherfucker, but I wouldn't say it's very memorable. I'll be like, hum me a few bars, and
Yeah,
nobody
that's
could.
what I mean. That's what I mean.
So that I'll slightly push back just because their score and soundtrack and Challengers is fucking amazing. I rewatch it all, re-listen to it all the time, and I hum it.
Yeah,
But that's the
cool.
key, is that you hum these songs, right? You know,
Yeah. And the Tron Legacy soundtrack is totally hummable.
Yes, yes, and it takes you along for the ride. This is everything is just so again, man. I'm using these words, but it's just like it's just offensive. It's like, all right, dude, I get it. Slow motion, big blast. I mean, this is like
They'd have been better off using Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. I mean, fucking, I'll even take his cousin Giuseppe Zimmer. I don't care.
Was Daft Punk not available?
No, they retired.
Well, come on, they could still do
Kaczynski,
it.
I mean, and then the Headland, I mean, Olivia Wilde, those guys were so good. That was
You know what
I very
think?
disappointing.
This is my speculation, but I think the reason that we got 9 Inch Nails, and again, I'm a fan of 9 Inch Nails. I've just been underwhelmed by their, i.e., his work in Hollywood, which I found to be very, very lackluster. But I think that there is one guy in Disney, one senior executive, something like that, really high up, that happens to be a fan, and who must have made the mandate, because this came before director and everything, that we're going to use 9 Inch Nails this time. Because it was Disney that insisted that the name in the credits be 9 Inch Nails, and not Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, but 9 Inch Nails. And also, they've been in talks for the last, or not in talks, but in attached for 5 years before they settled on which script to go with, before there was a director. There was 9 Inch Nails, which tells me there was a big fan. There was someone who decided we have to go with 9 Inch Nails. And to me, that's just the wrong call. Like, for instance, I'm a big fan of Rammstein, but I would never hire Rammstein to do a score for Tron Legacy. They're the completely wrong fit for the property. I'm a big fan of Laibach too, but they're also a wrong fit for that particular property. And they have done soundtracks. But
yeah, I mean, I'm looking at their and collectively, Trent and 9 Inch Nails, The Crow, Social Network.
It feels like they just kind of also ignored Legacy. Like, why didn't they follow the ending of Tron Legacy, or where was Cillian Murphy?
It's tacitly referenced. It's referenced towards the very end of the movie. Like, if we get around to do another sequel, which we definitely won't, that is where we're going to go. But it's just referenced towards the very last scene of the movie. It's not referenced at all beyond that.
In the post-credit scene, I guess that sets up Tron 4, maybe.
Well, there's a post-credit scene. And I don't know quite exactly what that is supposed to set up. I'm not that into Tron lore that I know what's going to happen. I don't remember that from the original, but something happens with Dillinger where he gets like this super duper red costume, significance of which I do not know. Personally, I anticipate that's going to have the exact same significance as in The Predator, where the lead guy there got this anti-Predator Iron Man suit that never ever will be seen again. I think that's what's going to happen here. The more interesting thing was the ending with Ares himself, because that was the ending that hinted at following up with Tron Legacy. But again, that's not going to happen. I think maybe in 15 years. But
well, I'm not surprised. I mean, this franchise is kind of niche to begin with.
Yeah,
I was never surprised with how Tron Legacy did at the box office as far as that goes. I think they were being a bit ambitious then, especially considering you were making a sequel to a, at that time, 25-year-old film that technically flopped.
Yes.
Well, it got a cult following, but yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has a very niche audience. The only reason I think it even built that cult following the way it did is most people don't know this, but Robert Meyer Burnett would back me up. Tron was one of the first videos that Disney released. because Disney wasn't so sure about putting their big hits out there, because their first animated film that finally hit was Pinocchio, but Pete's Dragon and Tron and a couple of those live action films were amongst the first ones they put out on VHS to test the market. So I think that's another reason why it kind of continued
Packaging
on.
too was really cool. Yeah.
But otherwise, it probably would have got lost to obscurity like some of the other Disney films that have over time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of it.
I am too, especially the first film.
It. Yeah,
I just see that as a very niche. Yeah.
No, I was just say definitely watching it again. I could see a new crowd digging it. You know, I think a lot of it actually does stand the test of time. There's a couple things. I'm not about the 82 one, you know, but man, you know, it was kind of ahead of its time.
Yeah. And to be clear, I do not fault Disney for gambling and taking a chance on Tron Legacy in 2009. Don't blame them for that at all. That was a chance worth taking. What I do blame them for is that they needed to make a sequel within 5 years of it. If this movie, the big problem with it is that it comes out in 2025 and not 2015, which is when the window for it kind of closed. Because, I mean, they try to relate it to AI and stuff, but it don't really work. Don't work. So this movie really is out of time, and it has no real link to what came before.
I agree with you, Andre.
You need to have seen it.
It's almost more disconnected in time with the last film than the second one was from the first one, even though there's probably less distance in time. It just does. I agree with you. I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not surprised this movie is failing on a lot of levels, to be honest with you.
This was all silly.
I mean, just Jared Leto alone. I had no confidence in this movie as soon as he was cast. I can't think of anything he's been in. I think we mentioned behind the scenes here in the green room, you know, one or two movies that he's done.
Like his more, you know, fancy pants shit like Dallas Buyers Club and stuff like that.
You can say Requiem for a Dream. Sure.
That's what he should be doing. I mean, that's what Tom refers to as fancy pants shit, like Requiem for a Dream and Dallas Buyers Club. He's fantastic in those movies. That's the kind of movies that he should be doing. You know what the problem with him as a leading man is, in my book? He is not leading man material. He is a very good supporting actor. Yes. He is someone that can take someone else and
good villain
shine. But he is not himself leading man material. And they're trying to make him happen, and it's not going to work because he's not leading man material. He is the absolute talent that is going to make an already good movie even better. Like Dallas Buyers Club. He is so incredible in that movie. That's a great movie anyway. But he makes it better with his performance. But that's because he's in the background.
Let me ask you this though: in this Tron Ares, is he the lead? This is
He takes a back seat.
Well, he's the co-lead between him and Chinese chick, both of which are there she is. And her very, very safe personal assistant, all of whom are absolute planks of woods. This is some of the most uninteresting cast I have seen. Not a single one is interesting or is one that I care about. Like, for instance, same with like this chick here, who is supposed to be the lead of the movie. I'm sure she's a fine actress. I'm sure she's good in the background and the supporting actress. But again, this is not a leading cast material because there's nothing interesting about her in the slightest. She was boring as hell. And much of that, I'm sure, is due to the script and everything. But the problem is it's across the board. There's not one single interesting character that I, as an audience member, cared about in the slightest. Everyone is just flat, annoying, and or uninteresting. And that also goes for the villain, like Evan Peters here, who plays Dillinger.
Yeah, but
the third.
Yeah.
Good actor, but he doesn't shine here either.
At least he was trying. He was doing some interesting stuff with what he had.
Yeah.
Which you can't say about Greta Lee or the Castro kid and All the what do you call it? The ed was it NCOM? The
Encom, yeah, that's what
NCOM
it
Gen
was, yeah.
Zer employee. I mean, just absolutely lame. This was kind of interesting, right? But a waste because you had two very talented actors here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because the talent, the cast, they are talented. So it's not a lack of talent here, which tells me the problem here is the script, which doesn't give any room for to shine, and also a little bit probably the director, even though he's a countryman of mine. I even met him. But this was lame. This was not what it could and should have been.
Yeah, Greta Lee is Korean. There's a little correction there, and she was in a movie called Past Lives. She's an indie film darling.
She was on the morning show. She was good on the morning show, sort of a, started out as a bad person and then kind of converted as the head of the network or whatever.
She's just completely miscast here, man.
Yeah, this looks like casting.
There's something different when you're a leading person, right? The leading woman, the leading man. Charlize Theron, Anya Taylor-Joy, like I don't like their films, but at least they were interesting. Well, none of that was here. Greta Lee had nothing.
Real quick, if I can, about Jared Leto, because no, you're fine. The thing with him is, you say they keep trying to make him happen, Andre. They've been trying to make him happen for like 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this isn't like he just came around like Timothy Chalamet in the last 10 years. This guy's been around for a long fucking time. And the other thing is, I can't believe people give him such a pass. Because did everybody just forget that not even a year ago or less than a year ago, that of all people, James Gunn called him out for like, and accused him of basically messing around with underage girls?
Not only that, I mean, in Peacemaker, there's one episode where there's
a joke about it, yeah,
2 times, yeah, and they even trash his band. I don't like what's his
him and James Gunn don't get along for some reason.
Footsteps on Mars.
30 seconds to Mars. 30 seconds.
That's the one, yeah.
Mars. Yeah,
and I agree. Like, is it like their music that's in the new Coca-Cola ad or something?
Oh, maybe.
Well, and I totally agree with Tommy in that this dude has been around since Fight Club, and I think he
wasn't even a child actor at one point. I could have swore he's been around longer than that.
That makes sense, man. The child actors out of Disney, man. Just, anyways, let me Leto has had he won his Oscar, does his indie films. Stick to that. I think Morbius was a freaking campy romp, fun time compared to this crap.
Oh yeah, Morbius was fun.
Yeah,
that was harmless fun.
Yep, harmless fun.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a good actor.
I think he's good as like maybe sort of a side character, bad guy, crazy person type thing. He would be fine as.
But I'm getting tired of him too, though. That's my point, Chris.
Well, you said something earlier, Tom, about him playing a good villain, but I mean, his Joker. Come on.
Well, that's the point. Like, he's going to be Skeletor next. Like, this guy has had every fucking opportunity in the world.
Oh.
He has had how many comic book movies? He's had how many franchise opportunities? It's not like they haven't tried a million ways till Sunday. Andre's not wrong. This kid is, or this guy, because he's practically my age.
Not a kid anymore.
He's in his 50s.
I was gonna say he's older than me. You're right. Actually, no.
Yeah, he looked much younger than he is. He
always has. Yeah.
He looks good. He
does look good. He does
look good. Eating baby fetuses will do that to you.
When he's the Jessica Chastain.
Allegedly.
When he became I guess at the end, are we doing little spoilers or should I wait?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
I'll wait.
Let's throw up the spoiler thing.
Yeah, I can.
And then everyone, those who
I was gonna say, I don't think anybody gives a shit. Actually, that's not true. Six did send me this image of, people have been talking about the theaters. Well, Six sent me this image of a very full theater for Tron Ares. See, that's a full theater.
Yeah. Oh, go into my X because I posted a Twitter of my local screening.
I'm just amazed at other reviewers just lauding over this. I'm like, did we see the? And I went in happy. I was in a really good mood, and it was 8:00. It wasn't late. Andre, did this? I actually nodded off in the first hour for a minute.
I don't blame you because the first hour was incredibly meandering.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, that's my screening.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, there were literally.
Is that guy taking a piss back there?
That's Andre.
He's like pissing on the
No,
fucking seat. He's
I'm the
like,
dude holding the camera. No,
Oh,
it
you're-
just look. I know. I acknowledge that it's an unfortunate picture. He is not taking a whiz, but it does look like he is. No, he isn't. I guarantee you. So there were 3 people in that screening. It was those 2, and it was me, because I went down just before the light shut up just to take a picture. Oh, he's doing something with his mobile or whatever. I don't know. He's not taking a leak, although it does look like it. I admit that.
So I was at and I didn't know it was 3D. I would never have gotten. I just went because a couple of the guys from the Film Thread group, and hadn't seen those boys in a minute. So I went to the Burbank one, which was very popular. That's the one you go to and see. It's always sold out, always this and that. It was half full, and people were laughing at the movie.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you brought up the 3D, because I also saw.
oh, it's a comedy. I didn't know that.
Oh, involuntarily. This is the first movie
Is it Morbid Time all over again?
No, dude. Morbid Time at least is like, fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andre, you were saying something.
There's not look at Chato's face. There's nothing fun about.
Oh, there's Chato.
What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Everything go okay with the fondling, sir?
Fondling?
Yeah, you got your balls fondled this morning, we said.
No. I've got other problems.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're glad you're here.
But our internet is down, so I'm on my 5G. Hello, everyone.
I'm sorry, your doctor can't help you with your internet, Paul.
No.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have good Wi-Fi at the doctor's
Has anybody
office?
got any preview numbers yet for Aries? I haven't seen a single one.
I just want the crowd to acknowledge that Tom Connors is actually a funny guy.
Oh, I can be.
Yes, you are.
If Paul lets me.
Especially if he's in a good mood.
This helps. I had a few edibles this morning. I'm not going to lie.
Nice.
Oh, my God.
Okay, that's it. It's Friday.
But I was in the best mood possible going into this film, and it fucking killed it.
Yeah. I will say, though, that, I saw this in 3D. It's the first time I've seen a 3D for years, and it reminded me so much of the very first 3D movies that were post-converted in the immediate aftermath of Avatar. When everything was post-converted, it was post-converted really, really badly. This may be some of the worst 3D I have ever seen in my life. It was absolutely atrocious. Do not see this movie in 3D. It is not worth it. I'm sure the movie is probably maybe it's not better in 2D, but it's definitely worse in 3D. So this one, stay clear of the 3D because it's god awful.
I heard your review, and your review was I thought way too kind.
Yeah, that's what I keep on getting. People are like, "You're way too kind to this movie."
I said that to him earlier, Cheeto.
This movie is the world's first 2-hour screensaver.
Oh, hell no. Oh my God, that's funny.
Well, we don't have any early numbers yet, which is kind of surprising because usually by Friday we have preview numbers.
Oh, let me find.
But all we have here is the predictions, and I'm curious if you guys think these predictions are even going to come close. They're looking at the 40 to 50
Give
mile.
it like another 30 minutes. Give it like
true. We're not used to being this early. That is true, Paul.
Yeah. I'll keep looking though, updating.
Yeah. No, word of mouth is going to sink this. I saw that the worldwide estimates were 80 to 90 million. That would surprise me.
That's in line with the estimate we just read, which I think it's going to fall very shy.
Way short of that, yeah.
It's a terrible movie.
I'd be surprised if it did even 1 million or 2 in previews, to be honest with you.
I would say it's terrible, but it's incredibly mundane.
Yeah. And to me, there's a theme happening with modern properties, including IP, where everyone is forgetting what the genesis of the original properties were. And if you don't maintain that, then I don't know what you have. So, for instance, I'm from the Tron era. I saw it live. I've made video games. I've programmed video games. I went to showings with other gamers. Tron was part of our legacy, if I can use that term.
Part of it was a generational movie.
But not just that, it was for gamers, like hardcore. I mean, people who gamed, people who were at the very beginnings of 3D animation, where when we first saw a ball bouncing on the screen that took terabytes of computing power to just execute that simple thing, we would, we went to, I can't tell you how exciting that era was of the first 3D objects bouncing around on the screen, just that on its own. So that's where Tron came from.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And Tron was a game within a game about gamers. This movie is none of that. That's the problem with it, is that it forgot its roots. If you're going to bring a game into the real world, then you have to find a way to fight it as a game. And you have to create new mechanics. You can't just use the same old, in this case, triangular frisbee, thing to fight it. They didn't, at the very least, they went, okay, we got a premise, which is the game world now enters the real world, and maybe similar to that Sandler film, Pixel. What was the name of that film?
Pixels.
Pixels, yeah.
You had it.
So that was kind of covered in pixels. So,
or should I say pixels, because you're on an Apple phone.
That's right. What? Anyway,
yeah, it makes everybody have a lisp.
Your lisp is just really freaking me out, bro.
Okay, sorry.
It's because of Apple's sound. No, it's just whatever their
Compression.
sound thing is. Yeah, and this is when people were like, Trump sounds like he's drunk. It's like, no, he's on like an Apple phone thing, so it's making all his S's sound like that.
You guys
Tip
sound
of the tongue. Tip
fine.
of the tongue.
So that to me is its biggest problem, and I could have an issue. I mean, I've got my prejudices because of my background and what Tron meant to us, and on multiple levels, and even levels that the regular normies out there might not have realized when the original Tron came out. So there's really no gaming aspect to this movie, and that to me is one of its biggest flaws. And it's the same thing with Star Trek. Star Trek now is no longer Star Trek. Star Wars is no longer Star Wars. People just keep forgetting what the original, the philosophical underpinnings of these.
So did you see it, Paul?
Yeah.
Did you see the movie, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're right, because the first film had a lot of game stuff in it, right?
You were in a game.
Right, like all the games and stuff that he had to play. The second film it had it, but it was kind of deviating more into the dramatic stuff a little bit more. So you're saying this was just all drama bullshit, no game whatsoever?
No game at all. They have the barest premise of a game, which is Tron world comes into a real world. Okay, so what are my weapons? What's my camo? What are the things that I'm going to have fun with to deal with in the new world? The basic premise of it from a game premise perspective is not horrible, but now give me my weaponry. What's my Mass Effect style shit that I get to use against this thing and have some fun with it? Again, that's the raison d'etre of Tron. You can't dump it, and they did.
Say "suffer and succotash" for me, please.
Suffer and succotash.
Say, I'm gonna get you putty to.
That's perfect.
So I'm really listening, eh?
Yeah, this movie cost $180 million to make.
Yeah, well.
Oh, they'll never make that back. They won't even make that.
Oh my
back.
God!
They've
Boy,
been
Disney is
pushing down the
fucked
box
this
office.
I'm really getting
predictions
pissed.
started out at like 45 to 50 million opening weekend, and now that's been pushed down to about 35 million.
It's
But,
just not good.
It's not
confused.
It's terrible.
Now,
People
Grace
don't know how
Randolph
to
says it
act in
checks
it.
all the boxes. Grace Randolph says if you're not seeing it in 3D, it's gonna ruin the movie because you're gonna be saying, "Boy, I wish I had seen this in 3D." That's really
No,
what she said.
you're not going to say that, because I did that, and I say, boy, you stay away from that 3D because it was
Agreed.
awful.
Isn't her hair in 3D? What a hag!
And again,
yeah.
this might be just me and my background, and the term I use, gear porn. For all the computery stuff in it, nothing was real. I didn't believe any of the people sitting down at these flat keyboards and their fingers flying and code happening, and then shit suddenly appeared, and for all its laser effects creating these Tron characters, I didn't believe it. It's not like Iron Man 1 where that's total gear porn.
I did buy the Indian dude.
Pardon me, what?
I did buy the Indian dude. If he said he cracked through, I believed him. He had a little small role, but he was rocking it.
Because he was Indian, and you believed he was a programmer, because all Indians are programmers.
I just believed how he did his character, whereas Greta Lee, it's Ray Skywalker, guys. It's fucking Ray Skywalker. Let's be real. And then you have the little Latin boy who is, kissing her ass the entire time, making bad jokes. I can make 100.
And who's very safe,
huh?
That's not and who's very safe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but Chato's absolutely right. It's like, I'm gonna believe these guys can put together all this gadgets. First of all, I don't believe that they could even survive for 5 minutes in Alaska or the Antarctic, wherever the freaking where they were at. Ah man, what a Yep.
And it's funny. It's so devoid of science. And I mentioned this on the Drinkers show that people, not everybody realizes how the corporeal world works, and how come when we sit down in a chair we don't pass through it. And it's all due to the fact that not because we're solid, we're not. We atoms and muons and particles are passing through us cosmic rays all the time. It's the repulsion of electrons, and the fact that we're sitting on objects that don't require another electron to fill in their rings, or we'd be stuck to it. If the objects that we're touching require extra attraction, then we would be sticking to them. But we're not. We're not passing through them, not because they're solid, but because of the repulsion of the electron, of the atoms that naturally repulse each other. So, if someone had a quick little physics tutorial on how they're able to make these digital objects be able to physically interact with us, I think that would have been cool and educational. And I think I don't think it necessarily would make the movie more boring.
You don't understand. You're wrong. It's the sisters know everything, and they said so. And then one dies, and then one moves on. I mean, you have no heart, Chato.
But you can have both. I mean, can't you have some physicist explain how they're able to bring digital objects to life in the real world?
I think a good example of that is
maybe the whole galaxy's on the back of your thumbnail, man.
Yeah, man, is Armageddon, right? Total outlandish action film, but then they explain some silly way of like, we're gonna burrow into this asteroid and all that stuff.
Right.
But you kind of bought it because they were delivering it.
Even Ben Affleck called out how idiotic it was in the commentary. One of the greatest audio commentaries of all time.
But like, all you needed
but it was fun. That movie was fun, dude.
Right. And
absolutely.
In the old sci-fi movie days, you'd have the large-breasted female scientist in the lab coat telling everybody, well, you do understand that this is just phase turning, cosmic ray intensity reversing, right? And there's no one explains even badly how these objects, these video game objects, can exist in the corporeal world.
Yeah,
it just bugged me so much. There's just so much.
But that's what I mean.
Let's also say there were no hot chicks in this film either.
No.
Yeah, that too.
I mean,
but really, it asked too much. It asked too much of the audience. There were too many asks.
Yeah. And then who was Athena? You're saying Athena was from the Acolyte?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's Jodie Turner.
Jodie Turner-Smith. Yeah. That's
She was
her.
okay.
Oh, she was okay in this one.
It's not a matter of being okay, Chato. It's just, it's a stupid character.
I mean, if anything, she was better here than she was in The Acolyte.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would agree.
And much better than she was as herself when she was at that Star Wars experience in London.
Yeah.
That's her.
I mean, that's the one. Yeah, that's her.
Whoa.
And
that's
poor
her.
Jared Leto,
Leto.
sorry, didn't really. I mean, I know this.
Now I
Actually,
want
he's a
Jared
producer
Leto.
of this movie. I'd like Jared Leto. It'd be a lot more jokes in it.
From this point onwards, his name henceforth is Jared Leto.
I just want to say it's totally Morbid time. Yeah.
So and I felt badly for his character because if that was hard to play, that you've got this digital existence that suddenly has to start feeling human emotions for reasons that only Rain created. And if you're going to create an army of digital avatars or their NPCs, why aren't they all the same? Why does one have a beard? Why was one black? Like why would all these NPCs look different?
Well, you just have to accept that computer God created it that way. All their atoms and everything like that just came on its own from you punching some lines of code.
Yeah, even if the bad guy quickly brought up one of those character selection tools from Mass Effect or something, or any of the video games, any RPG where you can customize your character. If he just quickly brought that up and said, "Oh, okay, white person, beard, long greasy hair. Okay, fine. Jodie Taylor-Turner. You know what? I want a black chick. Oh, bald. Yeah, click, select.
You know what? There was a wasted opportunity there, actually, because in the original Tron, all of the computer characters, the programs mirrored the users who designed them.
Correct.
I mean, if anything, Aaron should have been played by Evan Peters, who played like Dillinger. That actually would have made the movie better, because there's also a Frankenstein element to this, right? With how the creation rebels against the creator, and that way gets true freedom. That's one of the many philosophical things in this wannabe Blade Runner, right? The Frankenstein theme. There was even a visual reference to Frankenstein at some point in the movie, very early on. We saw a book of Frankenstein or something. So that obviously was intentional. Well, they kind of messed that up, because then the character shouldn't have been played by Leto, but by Evan Peters himself, just like the original, because that's how he loses control over his own creation. And same with Athena. It shouldn't have been this Jodie Turner-Smith. That should be him as well. Another version of him that actually ends up ending him. Or his mother, as it were. The bride of Frankenstein, I guess.
Yeah, so, part of the challenge of this
confused.
is to, give it some verisimilitude, right? Like how many MacGuffins can you juggle at the same time?
Well, as many as they need for the script to make somewhat sense, I guess.
42.
Yeah, there you have 42.
I just wish that these modern variations would bring people on board who understand the zeitgeist of the original, and at least try to adhere to what it was that at its core we loved. But I also understand that when you're dealing with people like The Witcher or Wheels of Time, is that they're bringing people on board who absolutely hate the original versions of all that stuff and want to change it. So I don't think that's the case here. I think this is just more incompetence.
There is no hate of the original, but what I see failed ambition. This is a perfect example of someone dumb trying to create something smart. trying to create something that is greater than themselves and failing because it's still down to their level. And that goes through this here. This is a very corporate product. You can see that this is something that's been made by a committee. And that committee even decided the music very, very early on. So this is a committee production.
And you can tell that when someone pitched the log line for this movie, they shat their pants because it's a really good log line. And that
Remind me, what's the log line?
So that is the 25 words or less premise that a studio executive will understand before he goes off and bangs his secretary and snorts coke.
That's fine. Okay, I'll be more specific. What's the log line for this specific movie? Tell me, because I forgot. Is
Tron comes into the real world.
Right.
That's it. And they would shit their pants. Oh, I love it. That is absolutely fantastic. Whoa. I mean, it's a really good log line. It's intriguing. I'd greenlight that.
Is it $1 billion idea?
No, I have no idea. But just, but you can tell that it's not complicated. It's simple, easily digestible, and would get a lot of people. Give them a Woody.
Yeah. But I think we have discussed this quite enough. Let's go to see what you guys are saying in the super chats, and then we'll move on through with more AI, maybe, because that's all the rage in Hollywood this week. They're freaking out over Sora, and then we'll talk some Peacemaker. Joe Pat 87 says for $5, Miss James Gunn on social media be like, my last night with Emilia Harcourt, maybe ever. I think not. But yeah, we'll get into that. The Omega Man says Peacemaker Season 2 was trash.
Oh.
Yeah, I think mistakes were made. Mistakes were made.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, mistakes were made. We'll get into that. And then we have Soul Nightmare, who says for $5, Salvation Run. Being the setup for the DCU has me excited. It explains the villain-centric projects and will lead to the new gods and dark side. Oh, cool! I did not know that. We shall probably get back to that because that's Peacemaker. And Accident Seller says for 50 Norwegian krona, Andre and Scriblight face reveal, both very disappointing. LOL. I hope Mauler stays hidden. Mauler, if you're watching, don't jump the shark like the rest. LOL. Oh, confident words. Yeah. And Grimzilla says for $5, what is Disney's obsession with Blade Runner? Alien Earth, and this, we're just Blade Runner. Is Predator Badland going to be Blade Runner? No, Predator Badland is going to be Alien Earth, which in turn is Blade Runner. So it's Blade Runner derived by 2 degrees.
It looks like Chewbacca and C-3PO. You know, Chewbacca running around Empire Strikes Back with a C-3PO on his back. Yeah. Nothing fresh coming out of Disney, it would appear.
It's Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo.
Do you know the video game?
Yes, I know of it. Yeah.
Bandicoot. I thought
no, Banjo-Kazooie.
No, those 2 different things. 2 different things. Crash Bandicoot and Banjo-Kazooie are 2 different things.
Banjo-Kazooie is one of the best games of all time. First 2, like, just brilliant. It's a bear with a roadrunner on his back in his backpack. That's what this Alien movie is like.
I need to see it.
Yeah.
We need a Toe Jam and Earl movie next.
I don't know what
that actually can happen before you know it.
I would
watch Sega, and Sega are very, very aggressive and trying to get their shit off the ground now.
I was gonna say, doesn't the guy who made that own that though too? So,
is that Doug TenNapel?
I was gonna say, I think so.
If so, he doesn't own that one. No, the one that he owned,
one you're thinking Earthworm Jim.
That's right.
That's right. Jim. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
Yeah. No, he has nothing to do with what you just said.
Toe Jam and Earl. Toe
Yeah,
Jam.
yes, nothing to
Yeah,
do
I
with
was
that.
totally thinking something else.
Yeah.
But anyhow, did you read this one from Grimzilla about
I
Blade
did,
Runner?
yes. And then Bacchus says for $1.99, Disney went from blue to red and not politically. No problem there.
You know, I understand that it's only in America that red is right wing and blue is left wing. I think everywhere else in the world, blue
Correct.
is
It's
right.
everywhere else. Everywhere else, blue is conservative and red is socialist and commie. And I believe that was the case in North America as well. But then at some point, this is what I'd read, I don't know the details. At some point, it was the Democrats that wanted it flipped, and everyone just went along with it. And I have no idea why. But rightfully, it's the conservatives that should be blue, and the Democrats should be red.
So I
have
can
no
never
idea why
I
that is
can
not the
never
case.
keep track of it. What? So in the red are the Republicans in the States?
Yes.
Yes, in the
Okay.
States, red are Republicans. It makes no freaking sense whatsoever. It's
I think it's
completely
part of the
backwards.
progressive Marxist gaslighting of the United
It
States.
must be.
We just
It
have
must
to be
be.
bass backwards too. It just to be
They're
fucking
still
rebels.
trying. Yeah, and they're still trying to convince the world that it was Republicans who were the KKK, not the Democrats, even though
Yeah,
that's completely
exactly.
false.
And that was like I mean, they were the Antifa of the day, also a Democrat hate machine. Yeah. And Angra Richter has been a member for 25 months and says, Clownfish said they felt apathetic after it was over. Tron Ares, presumably.
You just
And
call
then,
it Tron apathy.
the good title, yeah. And then my countryman, Accident Seller, says for 20 Norwegian krona, not to insult, but you're lacking the Viking helmet. Yeah, I get that. Many people are saying, where's the Viking helmet? Well, it doesn't fit with this headset. That's a problem. So I can choose to have the Viking helmet, or I can choose to hear what the people on the panel are saying. Of course, I could put on speakers,
But you still have your dwarf cam on, Andre.
I have told him if he reads the friggin' private chat, it says Andre in big letters, headroom. I'm gonna start calling him Max Headroom.
I'm calling him dwarf.
Well, you
he's
can have
got
like
the
the Max Headroom in the background, who only has shoulders anyway.
Yeah, I know, but you have so much headroom above you.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, the chair is comfortable.
you're in the fucking basement of the shot, dude. It's like, oh my god, get up. Okay, so we're good now. He's up there. Anyway, did you translated this for us? He's got another one.
Yes, I did. And then he says, yeah, now Andre is angry at me. Time to take a dent. Dent is like a candy. Nah, of course I'm not angry. I'm a chill dude. So, yeah.
And then Shadow Dancer Citizen of Bespin says, so Tron Arse, as it's being put in the chat from Disparu, is chess program? Yeah, basically.
More like checkers, but yeah.
Screensaver.
ActionCom says, you know what's weird? People were lukewarm to Tron Legacy at the time. With Ares, Legacy has been elevated to greatness. Is that deserved? Are people letting go of their reluctance of Legacy? Honestly, Legacy did very well. It was a bit high budgeted, but they did manage to pull in nearly $500 million worldwide back in, what was it, 2010?
Nine. And some of us were saying that even at the time that this is a seriously great and underrated movie, because it's not just a movie, it's a whole experience. And I was first among those people. If that movie is getting discovered by more people as a consequence of Ares, then fantastic. But yeah, it is true. The movie did underperform, and it did somewhat disappoint, and many people didn't understand its greatness at the time it came out. I would
argue it actually overperformed, considering it was a sequel to a movie that had come out 20 years prior, 25 years prior, or whatever.
Okay, I'll rephrase that.
Years, yeah, it's 28 years. Yeah.
It overperformed relative to what anyone with all faculties in somewhat working order should reasonably expect it to do. But it underperformed relative to what Disney stupidly thought it would do when they budgeted and scaled the whole thing. How's that? Yeah,
that's
but
absolutely
Disney
accurate.
were the ones, yeah,
right. Like if they would have budgeted Tron Legacy at closer to 100 million instead of 170 or 180,
yeah.
And I mean, even with the money they brought in, they still were profitable. And then the show, they did a TV show off it, and it also had toys, so it's not like it didn't have a secondary life. But the problem was, like you said earlier, is they waited too goddamn long for a sequel. They didn't care about Tron after they bought Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah.
And they had the opportunity there to nurse it through as a franchise that was viable. I mean, Tron Legacy was a decent reboot in a sense. Like, if that came out now, if they were getting those same kind of numbers for Tron Legacy, for Tron Ares, we'd be seeing all the headlines about how much of a big hit this is. You realize that,
the
right?
animated show is actually pretty good too. That came out after that,
right? Well, but my point is like the thing is the original Tron was a disappointment, or Tron Legacy, I should say, was a disappointment when it came out, 15 years ago or whatever. But if it was doing that now with Tron Ares, they'd be saying it's a hit. We were talking about the same damn thing with Superman last night, and how this Forbes article just really kind of muddied the whole waters again with this whole conversation, even though I thought we had kind of moved past it at this point. But yeah, so like, I think it's the same thing here. This movie, if it was a situation where it was doing those kind of numbers now, I think that Disney would be very happy. But at this point, yeah, I think this is a dead franchise.
Well, the original Tron had terrible initial response in the theaters.
Yeah, we had brought that up. Yeah, it was the original film really wasn't a hit, and I
far from it. It's a VHS hit.
That's what I just said earlier too. Is I suggested that the reason it lived on and got such a big cult following, or any kind of cult following whatsoever, was it was one of Disney's first VHS films, because they tested the market with some of their live action films and avoided doing any of the animated films up until they started doing like Sword in the Stone and Pinocchio and stuff like that. They finally
and I
let
think,
them go. But
we talk about the loss of the multiple streams of revenue, but that's actually a badge of courage for many of us nerds, that something bombed in the theater but became a VHS DVD hit. That's actually cool. That's a construct that people understand and has value. Right now, if someone says, it's a theater failure, but a huge hit on streaming, really? Like, who cares? It doesn't have the same cachet.
That's true. No, that's totally true. You're not wrong. I mean, because how many streaming movies just come and go and nobody talks about them again?
Especially especially the bigger releases, and then they become streaming hits. Who cares?
Yeah, they don't have that staying power. No,
right.
Well, plus the fact that you own it. Like,
but the point I wanted to finish was that there's been plenty of films, quality films like a Tetris, Flaming Hot, that they release on streaming and no one hears about them, and then there's people like Tom and you guys that talk about them are like, this is a great film. That's probably the only link to what you're talking about that still exists nowadays.
It's not as much fun.
It's not. Prey was like that.
And I think F1 benefited from this, because if it hadn't been the fact that it didn't get a theatrical release, it would just be another Apple movie that nobody talks about, like Wolves, like The Family Plan, like Tetris. Like Tetris to me really upset me, because I'm like, this should be the best movie. This should be nominated for Best Picture of the year. And the only reason it's not going to get any notice whatsoever is because Apple didn't give a shit and they did not put it in theaters. And now it's not a theatrical film, as Paul pointed out. It's just a streaming movie. And it's one of the few that we still talk about. How many of the hundreds of other streaming films do we never talk about again, because they come and they go? Even The Samaritan is one that I do bring up from time to time, but it's getting lost in a lot of people's memory. And if they don't get that sequel out pretty soon, I don't think people are going to care. For those who forget what I'm talking about there, that's that Sylvester Stallone movie that was basically Black Adam before Black Adam came out.
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun.
liked it a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and I would say The Family Plan would have done great in the theater.
I think so, too. I think Wolves would have done great, too. That one was one of their biggest mistakes. That would have come out at Christmas, and there wasn't a whole lot of competition at that time. I think Wolves would have played very well over Christmas. And, I mean, they got lucky with F1, but really, is anybody really making that much money off of F1 except for Brad Pitt and Jerry Bruckheimer at the end of the day, is my question, because we brought this up with Superman last night, because they spent $200 million on that movie, and all that movie was loaded outside of the U.S. Did they really make any money off of F1? I'm curious. Because if they're claiming that Superman wasn't profitable,
I'm sure they made a lot of money just on.
If Superman wasn't profitable, then I don't think F1 was.
F1, I think, I don't know this, but just watching it twice, seeing all the branding in the film from F1,
That's
I
not my
think
point, though.
I think no. I'm saying is that I think they already started from, from being
Like I said,
in the black.
Brad Pitt and Jerry Bruckheimer made out like bandits with F1. They made somewhere in the $200 to $300 million range. Warner Brothers, on the other hand, they paid $200 million to distribute F1. They didn't get any of that, advertising money out of that. Now, they would have for Superman, but now Forbes dropped this Superman article claiming it wasn't profitable. And I'm sitting here going, well, F1 made the same amount of money. Most of it was overseas. They spent almost the same amount of money to purchase the distribution on it that they claimed Superman cost to make. So how is one of hit and not the other? That's my question going into this. So to me, I'm saying, okay, so there is clearly a profitability margin in there that people aren't getting it to. And Tron Legacy, had they gotten to it, to get back to Tron, had they done a sequel, like Andre said, 3 to 5 years after that last one, we'd still have a franchise. I bet we'd be on our 5th or 6th Tron movie by now.
For sure.
Instead, they let it languish. There. Yeah.
It just needed to be properly scaled and budgeted, and that was always the problem. That being said, I do appreciate that they spent as much on Legacy as they did, if that is all we get. Because, I mean, that movie is an experience. I prefer it to Avatar. I see it in the same way as Avatar, which wasn't just about a story. The whole technology and everything that went into it made Avatar the experience of 2009 in theaters. But to me, Tron Legacy was far, far greater. It was even better use of 3D.
Well, that's the thing with Tron Legacy, was even if you didn't really care for the story, it was a visually stunning film. And like
audio-visual masterpiece.
Yes.
The only
reference
thing I
quality
remember
Blu-ray and stuff, yeah.
The only thing I remember are the outfits and that one actress in it.
I mean, I remember some
Olivia
of the set
Wilde.
pieces.
Olivia Wilde.
That's
all I
remember
remember is the
Cora.
outfits and Olivia Wilde, and that was enough for me at the time.
I remember the music, of course, but I also remember some of the set pieces, especially like the action sequences and the game parts.
Yeah.
I remember Flynn looking like shit. Like, I kind of thought it was clever that they brought in ISOs. There's a lot of see, that was the thing with the first Tron, is I've never really been good with computers, but I worked at an ISP, and one of the main guys I worked with there, he goes, "You ever seen Tron?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Okay, you're gonna watch it." And as we're watching it, he's explaining all the things to me, and it helped me understand computers better and how to put them together and stuff, because I'm supposed to be like slamming these computers together real fast with the parts, and I had no idea what I was doing. So that kind of helped me understand this shit. And you get to the second film, I feel like they just went to that next level, right? We've had X amount of years of computing technology that's expanded, and Legacy, I felt like, did a really good job of updating the world and the technology along with it. And
but
it just sounds like
had
Tron Ares just lands flat.
You had an emotional love story in it.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it was Flynn's son. You had a lot more connections to the original film. Bruce was there at least as a character, even if you sure Tron didn't show up at one point as the program, Andre? I thought he showed up at the end, but maybe I'm misremembering. I haven't watched Tron Legacy in years.
It was Master Control shows up at the very end. Okay. The David Warner character, which kind of screams sequel.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Yeah, it's been a year since I've watched Legacy, but yeah.
No, I'm talking about Ares. Ares at the very end.
Oh, Ares, yes, yeah. No, I'm talking about the end of Tron Legacy. I thought Tron.
I don't remember.
I don't remember that right now. To me, it wasn't important. I just have to address this super chat right now. Jason Webster says a Tron film without Tron. Yeah. WTF? And yeah, that's what this was. But again, that I can I can accept that.
Yeah,
because we've seen that before. That's the Pink Panther all over again. Remember the Pink Panther? As far as I'm concerned, there are 5 Pink Panther movies. 4 of them has Pink Panther in the title, and only 2 of those 4 actually features the Pink Panther.
Yes, thank you. That's right. He was Rinsler in fucking Legacy. He is a big part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Pink Panther first appeared in a movie that didn't have the name Pink Panther in it.
Yes, that's right. And that's right. Thanks, guys, for reminding me. Yes, that's true. He was Rinsler in Legacy because he was corrupted. That's true.
Right. Yeah.
What's interesting about ActionCom's comment a moment ago about how it was not well received, Tron Legacy, it had like a 51% Rotten Tomatoes, and of course this one has 54%, so it's tracking a little bit better with critics. But Tron Legacy wasn't made for critics. I think Tron Ares was made for fans, and not and they screwed it up. Tron Legacy was made for fans, and they did it right.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that assessment.
They forgot it's a video game.
Yeah.
Well, this one's for the girls, guys.
Well, and that's where you need Jeff Bridges to just kind of say, you think this is real? None of this is real. It's all a video game, like Paul Chatto says. No, and to kind of to your point, Chris, yeah, on the IMDb, the rating, the movie's getting a 6.8, which is nothing to sneeze at. Not very many movies get a 10 out of 10, right? Like, so this movie to get anywhere close to a 7 or an 8 is telling you that this movie is a very beloved film by the audience. I think you guys are right on Tron Legacy as how it found its audience, and people do like the film. They've grown to love it over time. Fuck what the critics said. This movie wasn't made for critics. You guys are 100% right. But I'm curious to see how fans react to Ares, because I bet you that the IMDb is nowhere close to that. It's a little lower, but it has hardly any ratings yet. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. Yeah, the audience rating.
The audience is high right now.
For Legacy or for Ares?
No, for Ares right now.
Okay, we'll see.
I just read it this morning.
My point is, it's sitting at 6 right now on IMDb, but they only got 3,000 votes compared to Tron Legacy, which had where was it again? Tron Legacy was sitting at 6.8 with 374,000 votes, right? And that's my point is, like, a lot of not very many movies get 10s out of 10s on the IMDb, not unless they're like Return of the King and The Godfather and Shawshank Redemption. Those are the only like type movies that get 10s out of 10s on the IMDb.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Special kind of movie.
It feels like, I mean, we've all seen Rotten Tomatoes be gamed. It used to be it's always been the audience score that
they can all be gamed.
Sure.
Yeah.
But this one, all the great audience scores are crowing about the great soundtrack and stunning visuals, 5 stars. You know, really? I think for some people, though, these movies are just, I mean, what am I going to go ride the roller coaster at King World and critique the storyline? I mean, if you have fun, you have fun, I guess, and you can give it whatever rating you want. I just don't think the movie's going to have legs.
No. Once the word gets out, it's you know, and rightly so. Save your money. Fuck this movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Absolutely. But we have some more super chats to go through before we move on here. Accident Seller, my countryman, says for another 20 Norwegian krona, Restner and Atticus did great music for A24's mid-90s. They probably did. But they weren't the right fit for this movie, I thought. And it's frustrating because the music in this one actually reminded me of the soundtrack for Resident Evil, which was first and foremost Marilyn Manson, but I think that the rest of the Nine Inch Nails guys helped out. And that's a far stronger soundtrack than what you had for Tron Ares, and that actually fit the movie because the score here was for something more horrorish than Tron has any right to be. And then moving on here, we're going to see if we have some more Tron super chats. So I'm just jumping to the Tron super chats. We can move on from that topic. Michael Whitehead says for $5, has everyone forgot Tron Uprising? Animated series released 2012 and set between the first 2 movies. That was very good. Problem is that not a lot of people saw it. That's the issue with that, but that a lot of people saw the movies. But maybe Uprising also gets a slight boost right now.
I say the irony of it is that show got canceled for lack of ratings when it was on a Disney cable channel. Now they probably kill for the same numbers to get that on Disney Plus. So yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And Accident Seller asked for $20 krona. Ares, was yellow hoodie guy as cringe as he looks? I don't recall Yellow Hoodie Guy right now in this moment. Polly, you remember Yellow Hoodie Guy? Okay, he was completely forgettable. How about that? Can't answer if he was cringe, but he was completely, utterly
Paul would have
forgettable.
remembered. Where did Paul
We
go?
don't even know
Here
who
he
you're
is.
referring to.
Paul,
Yeah.
do you remember Yellow Hoodie Guy in the Aries? Who's that?
The rest of us can't remember for the life of us.
I mean, if they're talking about the assistant, maybe he wore a yellow hoodie.
Yeah, it must be the assistant. He was only memorable for being so unbelievably safe around women.
Well, he wasn't funny. He kept telling like all these terrible fucking jokes.
He
Like,
was
shut
dreadful.
up, dude. And that guy's a good little actor, like a Jason Alexander, like character actor. I've seen him in other stuff.
Yeah.
Here, no.
Yeah.
No.
And then Michael Whitehead says for another £5, I'd rather watch Code Lyoko than Tron. French anime for older kids, young adults. If Matrix and Tron met in Paris and had a child, it would be Code Lyoko. The French, they have so much amazing animation. The problem is that so much of it is kind of like stuck in France. Some of it was actually dubbed to English by the Children's Channel in the early 90s, but much of it is like lost from there. Like, for instance, The Blue Child would be one of those things that you probably would also like, but the French have some amazing stuff. That's the Metal Hurlant legacy, I guess, like heavy metal magazine. Then Bass Player says for $19.99, thank you so much, I would consider Tron Legacy an accidental success. The reason I say accidental is because Tron is one of those films that older millennials like me found on their shelves at home and watched it because it looked cool. Yeah.
I can understand that, but what do you consider an older millennial? Because I have this big issue with what some people consider millennials, because they would consider me a millennial, and I'm like, fuck off. I never even heard that term until I was in high school. So I always consider... Yeah.
That's because we're ex-millennials. We're not millennials, and we're not Generation X. We are the ones right smack in between the two, the ones with an analog childhood and a digital adulthood. That's us.
I thought that was just Generation X. That's what I don't understand. I always thought it was just Generation X.
No,
I don't know. I don't know where this millennial bullshit comes from. Don't know. Don't care. I'd rather just be the Pepsi generation. Fuck that. That's what we were.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I wanted to give us a title, that was what I'd call us. We were the Pepsi generation. We grew up on marketing and media. It was all like, you're right. We started in an analog age and ended in a digital age. We were the first and only generation to not have a personal computer and or a VCR/microwave in the home. But by the time we got into high school, all those things were most likely in our home, including the internet.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I can see that, but like even me, like I never even heard the term millennial until I was in high school.
Yeah, that's not us. We're not that.
I didn't hear millennial till 2000s, man.
Yeah, that's people who were born significantly later than us.
Yeah,
so we're not millennials. Moving on from there, but sticking on the AI theme, Packing Proton says for $2, Mr. Canoehead is the new AI sensation. Is there some Sora AI about Canoehead? If not, I'm sure it's just a matter of time.
It was terrible, but it freaked me out.
Okay. Well, Hollywood is freaked out in general because this week Sora has been kind of like the big thing. I mean, Deadline Hollywood even did a story about this. Let's talk about that for 2 minutes before we get on to DC and Peacemaker. Since we have it in the title, Tom, I'm putting the link for that in the private chat here, so you can feel free to bring that up on screen. It's a rather lengthy piece, but I can give you the summary. Hollywood is sore and butthurt over the AI they've been fighting to get hold because now suddenly They're worried that people are going to exploit their likenesses and their characters and create better characters than they can, and they're not getting the money for it. So this is the gist of the piece. Sora is coming, Sora is here, and Hollywood is sore. And indeed, I mean, anyone who has been online, if you've been on Facebook, if you've been on X, certainly on TikTok and stuff like that, chances are you've been flooded with like these small clips of Stephen Hawking going all out. Not Tony Stark.
On a skate park.
Yeah, on a
Yeah,
skate
yeah.
park and everything
That
like
or the more
and,
famous ones recently have been Michael Jackson stealing chicken and shit. Like,
yeah,
that would have
fighting with that Führer and stuff like that. All these photoreal.
Yeah,
and of course, fat people doing sports.
Yeah, and before we get too deep into that, we do have an answer now. Tron Ares did nearly $5 million, which is not good. No. Not great. So anyway, continuing back with the AI discussion.
So yeah. This is just it. Now Hollywood is really, really worried about their profits and about people using copyright protected properties, and they are demanding that Sora implement similar copyright protections as you have in YouTube to protect their wares. And I'm kind of like thinking, well, why did they champion this AI thing as much as they have done? Just wasn't this entirely predictable? It's just a matter of time before anyone can make anything that they want with or without the resemblance of anything else. I mean, we have the script for the romance of the Pink Panther, the final Peter Sellers movie. What's to stop anyone from doing that? You just need the proper prompts to get around it. We have the original Oliver Stone script for Conan the Barbarian. What's to prevent anyone from doing that with Thulsa Doom as a skull and everything?
Scarier yet, as I keep bringing up for people like Disney and such, what if somebody turns around and redoes the Star Wars sequels and everybody loves them? Right? Like, that's where this is a problem going to be for them.
I think there's a solution. Yeah. And this is not too dissimilar from what the music industry has been suffering under, with professional musicians commenting on music on YouTube and constantly getting shut down for it without realizing that, let's pick a band, Whitesnake or something, and saying, dude, no one is buying any of Whitesnake's or listening to their stuff on Spotify. This musicologist has now just done an entire show on how great Whitesnake is. That is promo. Why are you attacking like Rick Beato for this free promo for this band that is, basically in cold storage? So I think there's value in this, and my premise, and you can disagree with me or not, is that let them do it, much like the Star Trek Continues, but you can't monetize it. Do whatever the fuck you want with any of these properties. Have fun. To me, that's just keeping the brand alive, but you can't monetize it. That's it.
Your problem on that, Paul, is vulgar pornography. I mean, you're going to get people doing things that
excluding
that goes along with what I was going to say. And Paul, you're not wrong, but along the lines of what Chris is bringing up, even beyond that, look at the good examples we've had so far where, like, the George Carlin estate turned around and sued because those people made a fake album of George Carlin material, and the reason they were able to sue and settle the case, because the people knew they didn't have a case, is because they used copyrighted material to make that. See, this is where it's a little different than a fan film, because I agree with you, but the difference between a fan film and what we have here is you can get a fan who looks and sounds a lot like William Shatner, but nobody's going to believe he's William Shatner. Now with AI, you're going to be able to make something, it can be William Shatner, and nobody's going to know the difference at some point. Sure, we can notice the AI-isms now, but we're only, a few months to a year before this shit is so photorealistic that you will believe that William Shatner is sitting there shaking hands as Captain Kirk with SpongeBob SquarePants and doing some sexual thing like Chris just said. And what are you going to fucking do next? Because, and this is where I think the studios are stupid and they need to get ahead of themselves, and they're just going to have to do what the music industry is doing. I agree with you there too. And what they're doing is music industry, for instance, is going after like Suno. And what they're saying is where are you getting all this information to base your songs on? And they're like, well, we're just basing them on the songs that are out there. They're like, yeah, well, that's copyrighted music. You can't just fucking use that to train your AI. And I think this is where it's going to come to a head is the studios are going to have to come out and start suing these companies and saying you're using copyrighted material to train these AIs. And they're just going to have to work something out in the end. And I think we've had this conversation a few times now where the solution is there. I think they can figure it out. You're just going to have to learn how to license this stuff. Even the actors and musicians have figured this shit out. They've just turned around and sold their likenesses as a whole, sold their entire catalogs, sold their likenesses. So somebody else will control it now, and forevermore we'll get, Aretha Franklin singing new songs during detergent commercials because her estate now can do that because they sold that, those likeness rights, right?
But that's an obvious one. The problem the music industry is going to find itself is that over the last, let's say, 10, 15 years, the publishers have demanded that every single song can only use these specific 4 chords.
Well, that's just a problem with pop music in general.
You're never going to find another 10cc ever again.
No, right.
I agree with you. And I had this discussion. And part of that problem, that's a whole other layer. But yeah.
Is that AI will not be sued if it samples the last 10 years worth of music because it's all fucking the same.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of it. It can't tell what's what. And you even got people in the music industry who I think are running their songs for these programs and they're finding out that there's things that are matching. So they're just paying the other artists up front. I brought this up, like there was a Weezer song not too long ago where I don't even understand why they did, but Billy Joel is credited in the song and they paid him before the song ever came out because evidently there's something in the song that matches The Longest Time. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you what it is by listening to the song, but somebody must have told them that in legal, or they ran it through a machine and it said, oh, it matches this. So they just paid Billy Joel just to make sure they didn't have to fucking worry about it later on. Tom Petty's had it happen to him a million times before. And he even said, I hate it because it's not even me. It's the goddamn record company doing it. Right. He's like, if it was up to me, I could give a shit. Like, when was it? Sam Smith and some of these other people did some songs that they got sued over because they sounded just like Tom Petty songs. And he's like, it's because I use the same 3-4 chords in every fucking song. Right. And he's not wrong. Because that's pop music since the 1950s. But it's how those chords are used, how they're utilized, the other things they add on top of it. The problem with music now is not only they're using those same 3 or 4 chords, Paul, they're sampling samples. Right. So they don't even know what they're sampling anymore. Because I'm sitting here, and I've told this story before, so I'll keep it quick. But I'm standing here in a grocery store, and I hear a song that's sampling Mariah Carey, who sampled the Tom Tom Club. And I said to the ladies who's checking me out, I'm like, do these people probably even realize who they're sampling to begin with? And she goes, well, there's only so many notes in the world. I'm like, no, you don't understand. They're sampling a song that was sampling a song. Right? So it's a sample of a sample of a sample. We literally have gotten to the point with multiplicity where we're to the carbon copy of the carbon copy now, where he calls everybody Steve and he's fucking retarded. That's where we're at with music, and movies are going to be the same thing before long if we don't get ahead of this thing too in that sense, because there's going to be no art in this. It's going to be all just people doing random bullshit like Chris was saying, and there's going to be very little actual good shit that's going to come out of this. At least with fan films, there's some passion and want to do this. Sure, for every cool Star Wars from the 1950s we're going to get how much other crap that's just basically Ninja Turtles shitting on SpongeBob's face. Right? Like, that's what we're going to be looking at here.
It's going to be the AI slop era. I
agree
know
Paul
with you
wants
lot,
to see
Tom.
that, but yeah.
No, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Tom, but then I start thinking, if these AI music creation programs are sourcing all the other music, what is the difference between that and maybe, say, a DJ who has worked at a radio station for 30 years, who suddenly decides, I'm going to create an album and write some songs. And then it turns out that all of those songs sound a little bit like some other hit that was a hit during his or her tenure. I mean, how do we know? Like, what do we know specifically that the AI took? I remember this great joke. Sting is talking about how Puff Daddy sampled Every Breath You Take.
He
for that
barely
song.
sampled it. He just ripped it off.
He
But
ripped
yeah.
it off, and he ripped it off without even asking. And Sting said, you know, Puff Daddy put my kids through college, you know, with how much money.
Yeah, because the company let him do it, and it was just money. Yeah,
right. But there has to be some kind of a threshold, because now it's going to seem like anything done by AI is just immediately suable, because you know the AI used something that was created by someone else, and yet creators today are constantly inspired by or sampling or just, you know, oh, well, I like that jam. Let me how can I mash up this Tom Petty style riff with this electronic equipment, but put this chick's voice on it? You know, it's like, where is the creator and the creation? Where is it separated? Like,
well, the beauty of digital is if somebody wants to sue, there's a digital trail, right? Like, they'll be able to go into the system and see what was used to train the system. There's that side of it. And I agree with you. See, like, I get around that bullshit by when I use AI for my music, that like I have for Nosferatu and other things, I write the music first, right? I feed the system with a simplified version of it, tell it what I want it to do. Because what I'm using it for as a tool is I don't have the money and the facility to get a whole entire orchestra together, right, and do all that kind of business. I can tell it feed it the tune I want it to do, the melody I want it to do, the chords and all that kind of stuff, and then just tell it I want it to do it in this style now. And through a lot of work and finagling, I finally got what I wanted out of it. That is a tool to use it in that way. But you're right. You have other where people, and we're going in the way left field here, where people are just like throwing randomness into these machines and just spitting out, like, you know, satirical songs or funny songs from like they sound like they're from the 1960s or whatever. But for those songs to sound like that, the AI is being trained by 1960s Motown songs, so it knows how to make that sound alike. And that's the problem with AI as opposed to a fan film or anything else that's actually created by a human being, is anything AI is spitting out right now. And that's why I even hate using the term AI. And I credit Script Doctor for this. He's always said it's simulated intelligence, not artificial intelligence. Till it actually creates something, it's not doing anything. It's just regurgitating whatever's been taught, right? It's not actually doing anything. And it's the same thing here with this AI for movies. So as much as Hollywood is panicking about this, they're the ones who can actually get out in front of this and stop these companies from using the shit that they make and limit what they can do. At that point, that severely limits what the AI can do, and can't tell me they can't do it, because I have a hard time whenever Andre wants me to do a fucking thumb and he wants, you know, Bob Iger bawling his brains out or some other thing, and it won't let me do that. Right? It says this is, you know, for whatever violation, right? So it's not, you can't tell me they can't regulate this shit.
But you can just say, make it someone who looks like Bob Iger, right? Not
that's
Bob Iger.
Or a Disney CEO is usually what you got to do. Like, there's a workaround usually, like Andre had
about the Nosferatu music. Imagine though, if somehow you didn't prompt the AI to do it, but it did kind of sound like something from Bram Stoker, right? And then someone tries to sue you saying you've ripped off this soundtrack, here it is. And then you have to argue, no, I didn't. I was doing it this way. I wrote the music and told it what instruments to use and maybe to speed it up a little bit and expand on my ideas a little bit, right? I mean, it's just so
there's
opaque.
It is. Well, and musicians have always dealt with this anyway, right? Like, look at the most famous stories of like George Harrison, who was scared to write music for the longest time because he was afraid he was going to accidentally use somebody else's notes when he got sued over My Sweet Lord. And he had no idea. And he's like, maybe I subconsciously did it, but I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, that was and So Fine or something, I think.
He's So Fine. Yeah, they sue, and it is. If you listen to it, it's in a completely different key, but it's exact same chord structure, like Paul was saying. To where it's that difficult line. And then you even had where, you know, Fogerty was sued for copying him fucking self.
Yep.
Right. Like, it's like, where did we get that? Was just happened to be because this other record producer owned the rights to the old CCR songs. But
there's the worst aspect to it. There is a worst aspect to it that I don't think anyone's going to care about. And that is the expertise that good musicians possess that allow them to have fun, understand, and mimic a different era of music. So if you take a look at Spinal Tap and how much fun they had with the past versions of themselves, right?
With the Thamesmen and the earlier
Right.
stuff, yes.
And I don't think AI can do a good enough job of mimicking it to the point where it becomes funny. And take a look at what Neil Innes did with the Ruttles, where all those songs were kind of sideways Beatles songs.
Right.
And they weren't, he didn't copy stuff, but he grabbed the tone, flipped things around, and the lyrics were vaguely, similar thematically or comedically. I don't see AI being able to come up with the Ruttles and the brilliance that Neil Innes created for that sideways Beatles stuff, because it all kind of sort of sounds like the Beatles, but it's not, right? To me, this is very off-putting from that perspective. We should move on.
Yeah, but to get it back, on the main topic, Andre, as far as like Sora and all that business, what do you think, or what do you think the main point is here with this whole, how do you think Hollywood's going to react to this eventually in the long run? I mean,
well, it's the same thing that they've done with YouTube. They're going to try to control it best as they can, when what they should have done was use every single power that they had at their disposal to prevent this thing from being developed in the first place. No good can come from this for anything. So that's what I think. I think that they've allowed the demon to come out of the bottle, and now who the hell knows what's going to happen.
I mean, I have heard some people say that, people are panicking. And people said the same thing when sound came in movies and CGI was first invented. And I do agree with that to a point. There's a plausibility to that. Because I'm sure a lot of people will just reject anything that is AI, because we've seen that to an extreme in comparison to things like CGI. But I guess that brings me back around to my initial point with Paul is, I wonder if the audience will be the ones to make the decision that, we're fine with this for a TikTok. We're fine with this for a joke. But we're not going to go see a movie that's completely generated AI. I think that's where people will draw the line.
It will happen.
So I don't know if there's really any money in it per se. But now here I already ran into something the other day. This was more recent, not to tip it back to the music again, but music is so far advanced already with the AI that I think it's a good, idea of where this is going to go. I was listening to the local radio station, and there was a song on there that I'm like, this sounds like AI. It has all the hallmarks. So I did a little research, and I'm almost positive that it is just an AI artist, and somehow the programmer picked it up thinking it was an actual song. Because I looked up the artist, it's like the artist doesn't even exist. And the only thing I could find was an X account that posts a bunch of AI songs. So I called and told them that. I don't know if they pulled it from the rotation or not, because I just left a message, because it was the radio station I actually happened to used to work for, so I know the programmer. And I just let him know. I'm like, hey, it kind of sounds like this is all AI, and from best I can tell, this guy is AI. So I don't know if you want to pull this from your rotation or not. But that just tells me that this stuff is going to get into the out there anyway. Because wasn't there what was it, Drake? That had that song that people thought it was him, but it was actually AI, and it actually got in the charts, and I think even won a Grammy or some shit. Yeah.
It was nominated. I don't know if it
So
won.
how long before that happens with a TV show or a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen.
5 years. Did you see
I wouldn't be surprised.
in Saving Private Pikachu or whatever? I mean, it's this stuff looks crazy, and the users are having fun right now. But it's it's the Wild West, and they'll rein it in.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised if AI already wrote the script for Tron Ares. But that's
well, we already have plenty of rumors to that.
Let me say something about the script, the Trent Reznor stuff, which I know you talked about. So I'm a digital music fan from a long time ago. The moment I heard the first tones from the movie, I went Larry Fast, because I'm a big Larry Fast fan, and he's one of the originators of digital music. And all the way through, I'm thinking, I don't think they did it on purpose, but I'm fairly certain there's a big Larry Fast influence in that Tron. Now, is that copyrightable? I don't know. So
well,
no one
that's
else
the big question is
where except for other Larry Fast fans.
I mean, that's the thing though. That's where does the line of inspiration and homage end, and actual, stealing begin. And that's where I think the blurred lines, and it's funny that that's the name of the song, that was the case that really fucked with the music industry as far as I'm concerned. The day that they made that decision, that fucked a lot of shit up, because if you actually listen to those two songs, it's like, yeah, clearly the song that Robin Thicke wrote or made, or whoever wrote it and produced it, they were inspired by the what was it, Marvin Gaye or whatever, the original song that they were suing over, but it wasn't the same fucking song.
No, it wasn't.
And there's so many songs that do that all the time, where it's a sound alike, it's inspired by, it's clearly pulling. I even love, like we brought up Spinal Tap earlier, on the new soundtrack, you've got Paul McCartney playing with them on Cups and Cakes, and he even makes a joke about how they stole that bit with the little instrumental part from the Beatles in there. He's like, oh, that sounds familiar. It's like, you know, even then he's got a sense of humor about it. It's like, where did this go where people didn't, you know, it used to be kind of, you know, like even Weird Al even said he can't do parodies like he used to anymore because there's no collective musical consciousness anymore, sadly. But at the same time, it's like, is there even a reason for him to anymore?
There's no tune. There's no tune to make fun of. I can't remember. I don't know anything. I can't.
Well, an AI can already do what Weird Al does anyway. See, so that's the other problem.
Right. Well, as they say, amateurs borrow, professionals steal.
No, well, I'm not saying that AI is as talented as Weird Al.
I know you guys have seen all the Taylor Swift controversy. Like 6 or 7 of her songs supposedly sound like other songs.
Oh, because they're banal.
Well, does that mean that she used some AI to write her songs?
Could have.
Well, a lot of them are written by Max Martin.
Well, then you'll have that too, where you have a problem where that's been a problem in the industry, where it's been like the same 3 or 4 writers and producers in the last 20, 30 years. So that's why everything sounds the same.
Well, let's move on to
Peacemaker. And we got some. I don't know if you're going to do super chats or not, but if you're going to move directly into Peacemaker, I'm going to check out, because I have not seen Pacemaker. Maybe this fine-looking gentleman has. Speaking of Weird Al, just kidding. No, it's Scribe Light. How you doing, Scribbles?
Hey.
Oh, doing all right. Good morning, everybody.
Did you happen to watch Peacemaker?
I didn't have a chance to.
Neither did I, so I'm going to check out.
I was up till late last night and got very little sleep, so I didn't have time to watch it this morning. I assume it went badly.
Terrible.
I don't know. I don't want to hear anything, because I didn't think the last episode was as bad as everybody else did. So I don't want any more influence than I've already had. So I'm going to bid adieu.
And that's fair. So that's fair. Let's do a few super chats, then we're going to get to.
I'm just tripping out on freaking Scribe Light, dude. Look at him.
Yeah, I know he doesn't.
Here I am,
like I imagined.
What's up, man?
I'm doing all right. Had my face reveal fundraiser 9th anniversary stream last night, and it went very well. We got $2,500 overall for leukemia research.
Fantastic!
Congratulations.
I was forced to watch 3 or 4 different TEDx's by the donations that we got. So but I had company, thankfully. I didn't have to do it all by myself, so that was fine.
Yeah,
I made a brief appearance.
Yes.
Did I. Made a cameo, yes.
Yeah, I also made a cameo, like many Midnighters.
Midnight's Edge had quite the representation last night.
Sorry, I missed it. I was watching fucking Tron Ares.
You have my condolences.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about that. But
and then, as Mr. Tickle Trunk says, this AI abomination of Scribe Light is terrible.
Oh,
I agree.
I say that to myself every morning when I look in the mirror.
We're just picking on you, buddy. Actually, you're a fine-looking gentleman. You just don't look anything like I pictured. But I get the same thing. See, I got a face for radio, so that's the problem.
You're funny.
Well, last night I had people telling me that I look very much like my avatar, even though the avatar was not modeled after me. I've had people tell me that my face fits my voice, whatever that means.
If you grew your hair out poofily and you did the mustache thing, then you could look like your avatar. Yes,
it's true.
Yes.
This is so weird.
But anyhow, yes. So what else did we have for a couple super chats here before we move on?
Mr. Tickle Trunk says for $2 Canadian, this AI abomination of Scribe is like this terrible. Yeah, we got this one, and then back to the top. Jason Webster says for $5 Australian, Yankees management and fans of Phillies management are currently feeling the same way as Hollywood studio executives about 2025. I guess they're probably not doing too well then, but this is like American sports. I don't know, but my condolences to them, I guess. Shadow Dancers has been a member for 36 months, saying, I want to see Captain America, Steve Rogers, in a Shield versus Disc tournament, Mortal Kombat style, taking on all comers. Who's with me? totally help you do that. That's a cool thing. And then Accident Seller says for another 20 Norwegian krona in Norwegian. Andre's bookshelf. Boy, that's stuffed with photo albums. Yeah, it's true, but it's not actually my bookshelf. Look, only some of the stuff in there is mine because I'm only in a temporary location right now, not my permanent one. So, yeah, but there's...
He's constantly running from the MIBs.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, there's a ton of photo albums behind me. There's some amazing pictures in there going back 50 years. So that's pretty cool.
And just
Packing
so I
protons,
can, yeah.
as for $5. Something for Tom on the Tweety. A non-AI preview of a little Wacom tablet rotoscope project he might like.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Well, looks like you're getting there. Cool. That looks really good, dude. Keep going.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, looking cool. Looking cool. And then Packing Proton says, doesn't Andre have any pull with the Nobel Prize people, like a direct hotline or something? Oh, I wish, because today was the day the Nobel Peace Prize is awarded. And unlike all of the other Nobel Prizes, Norway, the Norwegian Nobel Committee, is handing out the Peace Prize. I wish it wasn't. Honestly, I wish it was it was given back to Sweden so they could deal with the problem there, because it's supposed to be separated from the Norwegian government. It's supposed to be non-political. Supposed to be. Like, for instance, when Obama won the Peace Prize, you know who was the head of the committee on this non-political committee? Torbjørn Jagland. That name doesn't mean anything to you, but in American terms, that would be kind of like Bill Clinton sitting on the Nobel Committee, the previous president representing his political party and the ideology therein. This is what the Nobel Committee is like. It's hyper partisan, and it very, very much so takes partisan narratives. This is why Obama won, and he won when he hadn't done shit. He had just come into office. And
I saw some cope today about the fact that they didn't pick Trump. And it's because they had already made the decision on Monday. So, you know, even though this peace deal
he was never going to get it.
No, I know. I don't know why they said that. Maybe there's always next year, I guess.
Well, there's always next year, but also people are unhappy because the person who did one is actually aligned with Trump. So many people have a problem with that. And the news in Europe, I mean, in Norway, we even have like a news program, which is like This Week in the World of Trump. And it's sheer propaganda. So, yeah, but we'll have more to say about this later. Moving on here, Lightning Sketch Productions says for $4.99, AI is in truth a crutch, and cheating, which in work is a mortal sin, and sin never prospers in the long run. True. Darth Bobcat says for $5, on flop movies, the audience score is deceptive. The small niche of people who thought it looked appealing would naturally like it more. Yes, very much so. Hypergiver has a question for you, Polly. Is Deathstalker showing there? It's not here. I can't wait to see Deathstalker.
I don't think Polly's available. I think he's going to get some coffee or something.
Well, then I have to get back to that one. And Glade Riven says for $5, our half generation between X and Millennial are Goonies. Even if you aren't a fan of the movie, it does describe our generation. I guess I never saw it. Yeah. And Chuck Norris kicks Kurtzman's ass, says for 14 South African rounds, Skydance, time to finish Star Trek 5. Yeah, may as well. Now you have AI to do it even.
Chuck Norris kicks Kurtzman's ass frequently has some sort of Star Trek related hot take, I've noticed.
He does. He also
pattern recognition there.
Yeah.
It's a coincidence, I'm sure.
I know. Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Pure coincidence and nothing but. And then Jill Powers been a member for 16 months. We're glad to have you. Huss has a quick question. Can AI productions earn royalties?
I suppose it depends on what the AI production is. If you've made an AI of your own pets performing a story that you wrote, and and it gets released, I guess, sure, maybe it could get royalties. I don't know.
If all the information it's drawing from is proprietary, like if it's a model or a data source that you own outright, and everything produced from that you have the claim to, I think probably. Maybe.
Couldn't Warner Brothers use all of their properties that they own, feed it into an AI, and then have some 5-minute shorts that collect royalties on YouTube?
That's going to be the test going forward. Is like, okay, start licensing out data models for AI, and like you're gonna have to lease it. Like if you want to generate Disney content, you have to license the Disney model for your AI program, and then you pay Disney, and then you get to, this is the new frontier for like what counts and what doesn't.
Yeah. And then since Paulie is back, quick question: is Deathstalker showing there?
Showing where? In LA?
Oh, well, yeah.
Let me check. Did you get to that New York Yankee Phillies super chat?
Yeah, we went way past that.
That's an American baseball reference.
I figured it had to be something like that.
They both spent an exorbitant amount of money on their teams, and they both had early playoff exits.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Money well spent.
Yeah.
While you look for Deathstalker, ActionCom says, coming soon, AI movies that are not released, they escaped. Yeah, that sounds pretty plausible. And Jan N says, for 50 Norwegian krona, local radio station in Norway started to air AI songs as a way to bring down costs. It wouldn't surprise me as a Norwegian way for you. Speaking of Norway, Scribe Accident Seller says for 20 Norwegian krona, Scribe Light Cam, we have Scribe Light at home. Indeed.
Dang.
Mr. Pickle Trunk chimes in that Scribe Light looks like how Script Doctor sounds.
I actually, now I know how both of them like. You actually do look like. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to say.
Yeah.
Maybe it is Script.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'm secretly. Yeah.
Right.
Have you seen us? Have you seen us in the same room at the same time?
I have not, but I
There
didn't
you go,
know you last year, so.
Yeah. And speaking of face reveals, Accident Seller chimes in, Andre face reveal, Timu Andre without the helm. I prefer AI Andre, but hey, yeah, whatever goes.
Yeah.
And Packing Protons thinks that we skipped over this one about doesn't Andre have any pull with the Nobel Peace Prize Committee for Trump? Sadly, I do not. Not yet at any rate. Well, let's see. And KB has been a member for 41 months, and that 70s Rock Band has been a member for 54 months. And we're glad to have you all. And with that, let us finally get into the final episode of Peacemaker, concluding season 2. Now, who here has seen the episode yet?
Can I got the Deathstalker information really quick before we jump in. So it is playing in Los Angeles. It's playing in one theater.
Wow, one whole theater.
One Alamo Draft House downtown cinema, which is actually closing up.
Oh, that's
out of business. So,
amazing.
Hey, Andre, before you go to Peacemaker, I need to dip out if you don't mind.
Oh,
you're absolutely well. Sorry to hear that, but yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I had a good time. I would recommend that you save your money. Don't go see Tron Ares. Save your money and go see the re-release next weekend of the Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
Ooh.
Next week. Yeah, there's not really much coming out this month, so who knows if one battle after another and Tron Ares can scoop up the money that's left. Well, I'm going to go. We're celebrating 8 years on Bleeding Fool. Today is the day, so appreciate any likes and donations and well wishes or anything like that, or who cares really. I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekends.
Well, everyone check out Bleeding Fool, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you all.
Yeah, take care.
Hi, Chris.
And with that, let us move into Peacemaker Season 2, now finally concluded, including the final episode, which we were told was going to have this massive, earth-shattering cameo. So, Paul, let's begin with you. How impressed were you with Season 2 of Peacemaker as a whole, and the final episode of it in particular?
So, we'll repeat some of the stuff that I've mentioned before just to summarize. The first 3 to 4 shows were all set up. Nothing happens, really. Then 5, 6 were kind of finally some action. 7 got, okay, this is not going into a good place, and then 8 completely fell apart. Like, oh, okay, that's my summary. It was not what I expected. Funnily enough, he did do what I had suggested that should happen earlier, and that is Peacemaker running around sampling different doors and then finding the one that goes to his alternate universe. But he kept it to the end. So I feel quite chuffed in at least being able to guess something that Gunn found to be funny. But that last episode was nothing what I expected. I thought it was going to clean up, finish off some of the threads, but it was a mess, an absolute.
They actually did one more thing that you had wanted, because from the very beginning, you said that season 2 basically should be the A-team. It should be the team being back together, taking on new assignments each week. Basically, the A-team, right? And that's how it finished. They were setting up, I forget the name of the organization, but essentially the A-team. That's what they were going to do now before something happened, which prevented that from happening. But that was the setup they were going with.
It had a bit of it, and it ended with this world that Flag was going to put all the metahumans, and the first person he dumped into it was Peacemaker. Yeah. So whether that was supposed to be initially the intent was that's the cliffhanger for season 3, which now doesn't sound like there's going to be one. Why would I want it to end that way? I mean, as big an asshole as he is, he's our hero, and he needed to win this in this final episode.
Speaking of assholes, I just want to claim like some credit, even though it was there the entire time, and that was when it comes to Rick Flag Sr., who I said the whole series, because I saw the animated Creature Commandos, where he was kind of like portrayed as the lead character, but I was like, dude, this guy, he's 2 things. He's a complete and total incompetent, and he's corrupt. And that was brought into full fruition in Peacemaker season 2, where we see that, no, this guy, he's not the hero. And James Gunn later confirmed he's the villain. It was there the whole time. And for those who have been watching our past streams will recall, I've been saying this the whole time. Dude, don't say one good word about Rick Flag Sr. That dude is an incompetent, corrupt hack who is constantly abusing his powers. Really the worst kind of manager there is. And that was came to full fruition in this episode.
I hated it. I just hated it. And once again, Peacemaker never got to play Peacemaker yet again. It's so frustrating. I don't know what Gunn thought was going to be so fantastic about this, apart from the Looney Tunes, going into the different portals and then funny things happening in each of the portal, gruesome things and stuff like that, which we all anticipated would happen as soon as they walked in. I mean, something horrendous was going to go on. A lot of people died. And
that was the best part of the episode, the death of the red shirts.
Yes. But again, it was like too little too late. And then that cheering dance sequence, it was weird. Nothing made sense in that final episode.
What's frustrating is that I stand by that they made the wrong story, or James Gunn went with the fundamentally wrong story. He should have gone with a completely different story for the entire season. But given that this is the story that he went with, the execution was all wrong. Because basically we had 5 episodes of meandering and nothingness. That was completely uninteresting. That should have been 1 episode, 2 episodes at most.
Yeah, 5 and then when things finally got interesting, why didn't he need to bring Lex Luthor in just to give the name of that portal expert guy? That guy could have just been stuck in there. They didn't need to have Lex in
he flipped
this
one switch.
role.
He flipped
knows
one
him.
switch and found the thing. He didn't do anything amazing. He just went to a console, clicked a couple buttons, and that was his scene. It's like, oh, you needed Lex Luthor to facilitate
Why?
that. Like,
Yeah.
Well, this sets up
it's
that
like
Superman or someone is going to be sent to the prison world later on. And
It's
that's where
like-
they're going to meet Peacemaker.
It's like Lex Luthor advising someone with a computer virus. Yeah, go to Geek Squad.
Yeah.
Now, the entire season should have been, I said this from the top, it should have been Rick Flag seeking revenge for his son's death.
There you
And
go.
even if he's
That's what it
corrupt,
was.
and even if he was corrupt and incompetent elsewise,
Doesn't
you could
matter.
at least empathize with his wanting revenge because he didn't know what happened. In the first season, Peacemaker resolved his family issues between his father and the death of his brother. For the most part, he came to a conclusion with that by killing his dad and, taking responsibility for what part he played in his brother's death, which wasn't that much, and he was a kid. The thing that was still hanging over was the guilt over Rick Flag's death and his having to kill him. And so Rick Flag Sr. comes in, and he's on a vengeance spree, but he's restrained by the fact that he's now running Argus, and he's got people watching over him, so he can't outright kill Peacemaker. These guys just saved the world from an alien invasion, but now he has control over the A-Team. And so he sends them on continuous dangerous missions, and each episode is a new mission or a carryover from a previous one, and he gets closer and closer to wanting to take out Peacemaker through putting him into deadly situations. And then there's some kind of clash at the end, and you find out the wages of vengeance and all that kind of thing. Something like that.
Way better.
Yeah, and it would have fit in with the continuing aftermath of the Suicide Squad movie, what wasn't resolved in the first season of Peacemaker, and would have given Rick Flag Sr. something more to do in this. Because I tell you what, Frank Grillo keeps getting shortchanged with the characters he's ending up with, like with Crossbones and now Rick Flag Sr. It's like, this guy can do so much more, and he just didn't. The one part that was good was when he was interrogating Peacemaker, and when that knee went to Peacemaker's face, that one scene where he's, I was like, oh, are we finally going to get to this? Are we finally going to get to what this season should be about? No, it was like 2 minutes and gone.
Yeah. But basically, he still needs to be put in jail because Peacemaker, he killed his son, but it wasn't personal. It was business. Here's the thing. Peacemaker was the one who was actually following orders, whereas Rick Flag Jr., he disobeyed orders. If anything, Rick Flag Sr. shouldn't be pissed at Peacemaker. He should be pissed at the entire system that he is still enforcing, that he's still helping. I mean, there was nothing personal that went into death of his son. It only goes to show what a shitty person he is.
And that could have been his arc.
Yeah,
that revelation could have been his arc during the show of finding out he's so on vengeance, but the more he finds out about the circumstances of his son's death, he has to come around to the fact that he's actually feeding into the problem that led to his son's death.
That would have been fun, and I wouldn't even have mind him co-opting Argus and seeing him madder and crazier, and everyone just doing what he's
but he's also really double standards, because how many red shirts did he just see casually die on his watch while he was like laughing at jokes with his lover behind the scenes and stuff? But then he's up in arms about his son dying for a much more worthy cause, but ultimately the same thing, died in the line of duty.
Yeah, he
why does he get personal over that? I mean, he's just a
using his staff as
individual.
fodder.
Yeah,
He's using his
and I'm not
fodder.
And I'm not criticizing the writing. It only goes to show that he's truly a villain. But Scribe, I do have to say, though, that I don't think that Frank Grillo has been shortchanged yet, because that character isn't over. He's coming back for sure.
Oh, I'm just talking about the breadth of possible. Yeah, the role itself. He could have been doing so much more with that character if he'd been given a season where he's the antagonist, who eventually has to come over to the other side because of the revelations he had.
And can anyone tell me why Leota ended up being the expositional conscience?
Can I just get in here, because you guys are talking?
Yeah, go for it.
What if or that? You guys are too nice. This series was a piece of shit. I hated it.
No, it was.
All the characters. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, go for it.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Listen, unlikable characters, awful people. I want to praise James Gunn because I was in a fucked up mood when I saw after I saw Tron's Ares. I came home, I watched half of Peacemaker, then this morning said, Andre, I got to finish this. Wow, you made something worse than Tron Ares, and something more. What's more deplorable is that I liked season 1 of Peacemaker. I liked John Cena. I was liking what was going on. Yo, you need to stop writing your shit, stop directing everything, because it's starting to piss me off, especially since I've been a defender of yours, Gunn. You know, I really liked Superman, and the fact that you're making all these disgusting, unlikable characters a part of Superman's world, fuck that, man. Dude, I was just, and then I'm waiting, and it's fucking Godot, man. Nothing happens. Nothing happened. And you know, it's just unreal. It's just unreal. And it just goes to show you, it's a guy flexing his own fucking ego in all these projects. I'm talking to you, Gunn. I don't want to see the band with the wannabe Freddie Mercury playing the whole fucking song for 5 minutes. I want some action. Come on. I want Peacemaker. What is going on here? And it wasn't just one time. It was like several times. I was really, I just, man, you're getting me on a good day, Andre, and on the chat, I hate both of the things that I saw. I'm done.
It feels like James Gunn has got like George Lucas prequel syndrome or something, where he just can't let any control out, and he's got to see everything, even if he's stretching himself so thin that he can't actually do anything that well at this point. So maybe he's overcome with that. I don't know. But yeah, this season was...
No, I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Did anyone catch the repeat? Anyone catch the repeat from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Where you had like all of the characters tell Rocket Raccoon, we all love you very, very much. You had that literal exact same scene here, with all of the gang around Peacemakers broken down in tears, letting him know it's fine. We all love you very, very much.
I mean, Andre, how many times is Peacemaker crying and smoking? He's just a down fucking bitch, man.
Entire season.
The entire season.
Yeah.
He didn't even participate in the group sex with the gangbang. Yeah.
Right. Busch Gardens. Listen, I have to admit,
kudos to Gunn for that though. But yeah,
I did speed through that cringe breakup scene. I'm like, I can't watch this breakup. Like, and then like I sped up. I'm that shit's still on, and I went to the end of the scene. I'm like,
There's nothing good about that final episode, and it doesn't tie things up, and it's the whole series this year was a mess. It's too bad.
I'm really sick of like the main character, especially the male lead, always feeling sorry for themselves. It happened in the Punisher series on Netflix. It's happening here in Peacemaker. It's almost like the Joker movie. It's like in the first movie, oh wow, that's really cool. Second movie, they're apologizing that you liked the first Joker movie by making a movie that basically makes Joker a complete twerp. And so now Peacemaker is crying, and he's all sad and heartbroken over a relationship. And by the way, you're my best friend now, Adebayo, even though we never had best friends.
Oh my God.
And then all the chicks have agency. They're all smart. They're all breaking shit down, right? They're all figuring it out. I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Then Sasha Bordeaux, all of a sudden, who is basically, a piece of wood the entire series. I mean, she's cute, but then like, okay, in the last part of the last episode, she has a conscience and she's turning. It's terrible, man. It's fucking lame.
I like the simplicity of, I call it Star Trek versus Space 99. We're in Space 99. All these people, the moon was blown out of Earth's orbit by accident. None of them wanted to be there. Star Trek, you've got a bunch of characters signed up for mission. This is what they all wanted to do. It gave them agency. And I'm tired of these shows which remove personal agency, want, needs, ambition from the lead characters. Because it's wanting to do something that gets you into trouble, and then it's the character that finds a way out of the predicament that you yourself have put yourself in. That is what makes a good show. it moves the show forward. People wanting to do stuff.
I mean,
it's an anti-show.
Paul,
Nobody wanted to do anything. They wanted to
because
get drunk.
Gunn, I don't know what Gunn was on. I don't know what gummy he took. He took the wrong shit. Maybe he was doing Superman at the same time. But the way this was written, like, really, this entire thing could have just been a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, who was heroic?
It would be better that way.
In this?
Yeah. Where's the call to adventure?
Yep.
What is the call to adventure? What sets the wheels in motion? What gives the protagonist the reason to get up from his chair and go outside?
There you go.
Well, in other words, this had all the problems of a Disney Plus Marvel show.
Oh God! But you know, and the interesting things there they cut out because it's like a bunch of white dudes, right? Which is the dad and the brother, and I thought that would have potential. Plus, they're great actors. Where it's like, okay, we're in a Yahtzee world, but my dad's cool. Fuck's going on? Like, that's Peacemaker. That's Chris. Stay with that. Yeah. Anything else was just garbage.
Well, the point that you're making there, that the possibility was they also found out that Vigilante was fighting against the Yahtzees in this world. And if Peacemaker joined his dad, who clearly was against the Yahtzees, or sympathetically against them, let's call it.
Yes.
That suddenly becomes an interesting thing where now he's in Planet X Yahtzee land and he's joining his brother and dad, or maybe his brother turns out to be kind of sympathetic to Yahtzee land. And then so you've now got a really interesting world.
You're absolutely right. But instead, what did Gunn do? They had that fucking Scrabble scene. Yeah, man, this world looks a lot like the world we live in.
That was so freaking stupid.
And then martial arts guy goes, "That's right,
that's right." And how many times in the world that she lives in does she get chased down the street by white people?
Yeah. If you weren't going to do the Rick Flag Sr. revenge story, then the revelation that the alternate world was Yahtzee land should have been in episode 2.
Correct.
And that should have been the driving force between
get
Peacemaker coming to terms with his father and his thoughts and his brother.
There you go.
And that should have been it. But instead, it's like all the pieces to a decent story were just dropped on the floor, picked back up, and thrown back on the table out of order.
And listen,
you'll notice the shirt that Adebayo was wearing.
What?
This episode? Yeah, their T-shirt. It said "No justice, no peace,"
and then the other one said "Black Magic."
Too. You know the most unbelievable thing that happened in episode 7 was Adebayo jumping over that fence in one try. When she was running away from everything, she went over that fence, and everybody else was like, "Oh, I can't go over that." I was like, "Nah, sorry."
Maybe swimming.
Yeah. But Paulie, you were saying something.
Listen, I actually like that actress. I just think.
Oh no, she's fine. She's fine.
No. I'm just saying is that sometimes they cast these people that are unlikable. She's at least likable, especially with her in Vigilante. But I'm not to sound like that I don't know what it's like for brown people to chase me down, but that's my mom after me doing something stupid. She's throwing shit at me.
Yeah. But still,
trying to get a joke.
To me, that was like the most stupid thing, which is like, this Yahtzee world where we're chased down the street is really not so different from our world. Which all I have to say is, my God. Anyone who feels that, anyone who is in America and who isn't white and who feels that way, try visit the rest of the world.
Well,
and see how long you freaking last.
But see, they don't really want to. The accuracy would have been other black people running after her, black people killing each other, brown people killing each other, because that shit is going on here in the States in regards to high crime areas in our urban cities. But they don't want to show you that. They're not going to, this is easier.
Doesn't fit the narrative.
Just absolute trash, man.
Yeah. I think we've said everything that there is to say about Peacemaker Season 2, and my summary of it is mistakes were made. So sadly, Paulie has to leave us, and we're about to round out. So
that's
timing. Yeah, or so Paul has to leave. Yeah.
Chapo.
But Chato, plug your wares.
I published a scathing, appalling news video. Very funny. Please watch it.
Yeah, cool. Check that out. And also, since we are rounding out, just going to do any remaining super chats. We have two of them. Chuck Norris kicks Kurtzman's ass. Says Andre on your Facebook messages, New Academy Hero Ship. Yeah, I'll be check that out. And Tennille the 10th, formerly Tennille89, says for $2. Gasp! Scribe is French. What a face reveal!
I'm French.
Well, I guess he thinks you look French.
I never surrender.
Yeah. Well, you could.
A little breeze seems to whisper at me.
Well, to be fair though, if you were walking in the streets of France or Spain, for that matter, no one would look twice at you, as in like you don't belong. So,
yeah. Fromage baguette.
Exactly. Scribe, what else you got coming?
Well, I'm going to be out of town over the weekend taking care of my mother. I should be back in action next week on Thursday for my usual TED Excellence show, and after that, probably back on the regular schedule. I do a weekly show on Tuesdays called DEI Death Watch, where I take a look at what's latest and greatest in the wonderful world of DEI and how it's either being doubled down on or declining or hiding itself, as is more is the case. And I'm also looking towards, hopefully, in the near future, resurrecting a series I did for a while there called Living on Borrowed Crime, where I take a look and talk to people in the true crime genre on YouTube and what's all going on and trying to make a career out of that and the trials and tribulations thereof. So that's what I got going on in the near future. And also, by the way, guys, the fundraiser that I held last night is still active. So if you go over to the stream I did last night, 7 hours straight or more, I sat there.
Wow.
TED Excellence and otherwise. If you'd like to donate to the Leukemia Research Foundation, the link is still active. And so far, the total with both direct donations and offline donations by people, we're at $2,500 out of a $5,000 goal. But anything we got was a great success, and so if you'd still like to donate, that's over on there too.
Yeah, and also to Neil adds in that sounded unkind. Sorry, wasn't my intention.
No. I take no offense. It's fine.
Yeah, and Paulie, what you got going on?
Besides gouging my eyes out from all the crap entertainment that I saw last 24 hours. We'll be live later on with Camera Pasha. We're going to be talking about Tron, obviously. He got some news about Netflix executives telling their executive producers to get rid of the woke in their programming. So that's going to be interesting.
Oh, cool.
Later on today, guys.
Yeah, be sure to check that out.
Oh, I do have a challenge to Paul Chato, though, Andre.
Yeah. Go for it.
$100. The Dodgers are going to win over the Blue Jays in the World Series.
Sure, I'll take it just for fun.
No, it ain't fun, dog. I'm a Dodger fan.
I know you are.
I'm a diehard. So, all right, you guys heard it here.
Blue Jays had a pretty good run with.
Blue Jays are really good.
Yankees, they showed up the frailties in the New York.
They beat the Yanks, man.
System. So, but the Dodgers are good. What can I say?
Well, we only won the World Series last year. We're okay.
And we don't have the stars that you do. We're kind of a basement, baseball team. Well,
you got great players, but I hear that flight to Toronto still arriving with Ohtani.
It's a propeller plane. I've watched a few of the Jays games. It's a very interesting, different style of baseball. Yeah. Just put the ball in play. Single. Yeah.
All right, $100, Andre.
Sure, whatever. Between you guys.
I'll have to
I'm just trying to get it back to Andre. He's like, what is this baseball? What is this baseball talk?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
It's good to bet.
We don't have baseball, so I wouldn't.
Right.
Know. Yeah.
Would you have soccer?
We would have soccer, and we would call it football. Yes.
Football. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you just had football. I thought you said competitive pillaging or something.
Well, we have that too, but that's more in Sweden, although it's getting to Norway as well.
Norway
is mostly done with from our immigrants.
Norway is the king of cross-country Olympic skiing.
Yes, this is true. This is true. This is the one thing we actually argued at. So no one better take it from us.
That's a real sport.
Yeah, it's a real sport in like 4 countries.
And then you have to have your gun, right, and shoot some shit. Then
too.
That's a different thing. But yeah, you have that as well. Yeah, and we
like
are
that.
luckily the kings of that thing as well. Yeah, where you actually have a gun and you shoot stuff.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not Canadian dollars. $100 US.
No,
yeah, real money.
No,
real dollars.
You can't afford $100. Dog, you got your own business.
Listen, when you lose, it'll mean less money to you.
Look at this guy. When you lose, look at this guy. Freaking nut.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff. All right. Gentlemen, thanks for showing up today. Thanks for enduring both Peacemaker, which turned out to be a big disappointment, and Tron Ares, which also turned out to be disappointing. But what wasn't disappointing was having all of you guys here, having all of you guys in the audience. Please smash a like on this stream. Be sure to be back again on Monday. Check out for more videos to drop in the meantime. And with that, it is time to bring out the koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koala, koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koala.